Welcome to the podcast, everybody.
Yay!
Brad's going to start us off.
Wait, what episode is it, Nick?
Oh,
what's the day?
It's Brad's job this week.
It would be easier to host, Nick. Oh, hey, Nick. Thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.
If I actually knew what the fuck we were talking about this week.
Really? You don't know? Okay, well, I guess I will break that down for you. Before I do that, let me go ahead and introduce Nolan Hedstrom.
How's it going, everybody?
And Christopher Guthridge.
How's it going, everybody?
And we're going to talk... Okay, so
it's a
pretty impressions-heavy week this week, unlike
on
last week,
episode
which
412.
was... On episode 412.
On May 19th.
Who cares about the date?
Me.
Shut up. Okay. Okay. This is why I didn't want to host. Okay. Episode 412, May 19th.
I already said that.
God damn it, Nolan. Oh my God, you're killing me here.
These are the crazy antics that you gotta get used to if you're listening to this podcast for the first time.
Yeah, that's pretty much happens on a weekly basis. Anyways, we have a lot. Last week was a pretty news-heavy episode. This week, I think it'll be pretty gameplay impressions heavy. We did a charity. We took part in a charity over the weekend on behalf of Operation Supply Drop. We did the 8-bit salute. I think ultimately we ended up raising about $675,
something like that, yeah.
For that cause, which was cool. We thank everybody who came out, watched us play games. We broadcasted for about 24 hours, or we did broadcast for 24 hours.
Yep.
And we'll talk about a few of those games today. Me and Chris Davis did some co-op on that Halo 2 anniversary.
How was that,
dude? For the first time in my life, I'm like, I like Halo 2. I played Halo 2 a long time ago. I wasn't a very big fan of it, but
what changed?
I don't know. I mean, I wasn't.
The graphics.
We've talked about it before.
Did you not play it co-op before?
I didn't play co-op.
Maybe the co-op made it more fun.
Maybe it is, but I mean,
Dude, I think co-op makes most games more fun.
I think just in general, I have a bigger appreciation for Halo now that I've kind of gravitated more towards being a fan of the series. I kind of became a fan after ODST and then Reach and 4. I liked all those games. So now going back and playing an older one, I'm just enjoying it more that way. But yes, on top of that, the Halo 2 Anniversary is a fucking gorgeous remake. Holy crap. I didn't realize it was going to be as big of a change as it actually was. Like that whole game. I mean, they did the same thing with Halo 1 Anniversary. I mean, and you could swap back and forth between the graphics on the fly.
Could you do that in 2?
Yeah, you could do it in 2. And holy shit, like it was a pretty big difference in Halo 1 Anniversary, but this it's pretty mind blowing. Switching back and forth, which you'll probably see, and not to mention these cutscenes that they had Blur do for this game are fucking insane, and there's so many of them. They must have blown half their budget on the fucking cutscenes. They're insane. They look so good. I can't think of another game that has cutscenes that look this good. And pretty much every major plot point in the game that was a major event, or usually obviously at the beginning and ending of every level they have these scenes, but like they're not like quick 5 or 10 second cutscenes. Some of these are like 30 seconds to a minute.
And these are in engine?
No. But the actual in-engine graphics as well look pretty damn good.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize how big of a jump it was until I started doing. Like I completely forgot about the whole swapping back and forth, and then we started fucking around with that and just getting to key moments in the story, and then being like, okay, so I was already kind of used to Halo looking this good because obviously we've had Reach, we've had 4, and the series has gotten better looking over the years, but suddenly switching back and seeing how Halo 2 looked back in the day immediately and doing that on the fly, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
And of course the game still plays really, really well. And of course there is that distinct difference between playing like a Call of Duty and playing a Halo. Like they control a little bit differently, and obviously Call of Duty relies more heavily on looking down the sights more frequently. So I had to kind of readapt to that because the game still controls quite a bit differently. But like, oh my God, like it does. Watching the footage we have on screen here, it may not. Oh yeah,
Grunt birthday party.
Yes. Cold. So we turned on. So Chris Davis insisted on us turning on some of these. What are they called, Chris Davis? Skulls. Yeah. So we turn on some of the skulls. We turn on Grunt birthday party, which basically every time you get a headshot on a grunt, like a bunch of confetti pops out. It makes it sound like a party. You hear people cheering, which was hilarious, and it just made the whole experience a little more lighthearted, I guess. And I don't know, which was I think was a great way to replay, a classic like this once you've already experienced it. And I don't know, I forgot what the other two. We turned on a total of 3 skulls. I can't remember what the other 2 were. They were not as memorable as this one. But
was Pacey one of them?
No, what does that one do?
Okay, so they had like the modifier skulls like in engine.
Mm-hmm.
I take it they don't still do the thing where they actually like hid those skulls throughout the levels that you had to like find, because that was like the really big thing about Halo 2 when it first came out, was like people trying to find skulls where like there were certain conditions, you had to be on certain difficulties, you had to wait for certain points in the level.
No, I guess it's different
and then
here.
you could get into these like secret areas and there would be like these skulls that did weird things.
Yeah, so I think
that's where the whole idea.
Because this
of the
is
skulls
obviously
came
part
from.
of the Master Chief Collection. I think they've kind of just automatically unlocked those from the get go for this edition. So you can just kind of turn those on right at the get go and play that way if you choose.
Oh, I would have been your daddy. That was the other one you guys had. That one's.
Oh, you get so you get a co-op power boost.
That's where the hunter comes.
Okay, if you die. And I would have been your daddy, which caused rare dialogue. Oh yeah, so there was more.
What do you do?
Because the dialogue was, they had all of the NPCs had various pieces of dialogue, and some of the things they would say would be more rare than others, and obviously that just made it a little more common, so you'd hear some unique dialogue, which is cool. I don't know, and we played a good. God, I don't even remember. We played for 6 hours, so we got through like probably about 5 or 6 missions, if not more. I don't know. I was just having way more fun with it than I did the first go round. Of course, that was back in 2000. What? When did this game come out?
I have no idea.
It would have been like 2005.
2004, I think.
I don't know, man.
Really?
Because I bought my original Xbox back in the day to play the original Halo, and I remember being like, everyone was talking about how that game was the second coming, and it was great, and I was really excited about it. And I popped in Halo 1 the night that I got my Xbox, and I played it for like an hour, and I was like, I don't really like this very much. And that's just, I think that may have kind of like soured my view of Halo for a pretty long time until ODST rolled around and kind of spun me back around the other direction.
I found that game quite odious.
What does that mean? What does that mean again? Odious?
Like, as an odor, like a bad odor.
No, that's odorous.
Well, I expected you to know the definition since you decided to bust out the word.
Odorous?
Yeah, that's what you're thinking of.
No.
I don't know, but I think Chris Davis and I are going to go ahead and finish up the campaign because I don't know. I was having a really good time playing it. So I don't know. We're probably about halfway through it, so we'll probably go back to it in the feed here in the coming weeks, maybe sooner.
Odious is a word that means extremely unpleasant, repulsive.
Oh no,
Yeah,
that game
that's
was
right.
definitely not odious. ODST was fantastic.
Yeah, you're dumb, Brad.
You're dumb. You're
Right?
so dumb.
Halo 2 is awesome though. This is the only game, like the only game launch that I ever skipped school for to play.
Really?
Yeah, this is the only one.
Did
And it was
were
worth
you
it.
do you not regret it?
No, it was amazing. It was worth it. We ate spaghetti and played Halo 2
Spaghetti.
multiplayer all day.
That's a common,
It was
common
wonderful.
thing. Skip school, eat spaghetti, play games.
Yeah, it was great. It was wonderful.
Are you Italian?
Well, see, my dad worked at the school that I went to, so like I just like me saying like, "Oh, I'm sick. I can't go to school."
Why
didn't
are
work.
people watching the feed getting frame drops?
Are we dropping frames?
Are we dropping frames?
Yeah.
No,
Uh-oh.
the frames.
No.
No.
Our frames.
Nope, we've dropped
Maybe it
zero.
has to do with that. Maybe it has to do with the delay thing that we have.
Yeah,
turned
what
on.
bitrate are we at?
Maybe we should turn that off. Anyways, that's all I really need to say about Halo 2. I was just having a blast with it, which I didn't really expect to. I was kind of, I was going into this. Yeah, it does. Like, it's funny. Like, if you like in this moment, if you were to switch it back to the old one, you'd be like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember it looking that bad,
I'm
but it did.
surprised you didn't do that in the footage.
It was in a wait. Yeah, that was still original Xbox, right?
Yes.
2004. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's pretty cool. And it's a real bummer that Master Chief were the problems with the Master Chief Collection. Obviously, it was kind of broken as fuck when it came out. Were those predominantly problems with the multiplayer, or with the single player campaigns being patched to shit as well? Because when I popped this in to get ready for the broadcast, there was a 4.7 gigabyte update.
It's a decent sized update.
I think a lot of the problems centered on the multiplayer. I don't know. That's that's all I ever heard was people bitching about matchmaking, multiplayer, and stuff
Which is
like
not
that.
surprising. Obviously, a lot of people were picking this up
Which I
predominantly
mean, that's
to go.
why you would buy that game.
Yeah.
Like,
Except for me.
I mean, yeah. I
Who
mean,
has no
there's still
intention
great
of-
single player campaigns, but I just think most people who were buying it were buying it to play online.
Speaking of online,
Wait, what are you transitioning to? I don't.
Nolan plays some online games. I don't.
Wait,
know.
first of all, before we go any
No.
further, do we need to do
what
anything?
you
Do we
did.
need to like
Mumbles?
restart the feed or anything for these frame drops?
Yeah, maybe we could restart the modem. We'll just take a little break.
What? That's not a little break.
What? People can't sit here and we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna come back.
Yeah.
Sorry, we got to fix it for the live viewers.
We're gonna fix it for the live viewers.
Fix it for the live.
And if you're
viewers.
listening to the podcast, you're not even gonna know.
All right, we're back. We're back. All right, so we just finished talking about Halo. I apologize for the break. Hopefully, we will no longer have
breaks
issues.
ever again.
Well,
No-
let's
no
talk
more breaks.
about other old games,
Well,
Nick.
why don't we talk about games we played during the marathon first?
Okay.
Let's keep that going.
Yeah, shut the fuck up.
That's
I
what
do
I'm
apologize.
doing.
I don't have footage for this next game I'd like to talk about, but I will have in time for the video on YouTube. But Krispy,
Oh, you didn't get footage of this?
I was gonna get it today, and Brad was like, "You need to be here by 7," and I was like, "Well, I guess that's not happening."
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Krispy,
Yeah.
I can't speak. Krispy played.
You said prayed? Stop it!
Why are y'all playing footsie?
I don't know. He's
Because it
playing
makes
them with
Brad
me.
so uncomfortable.
All right, so Krispy played Fatal Frame 3: The Tormented, which was the game that won the poll. We did a poll for see which Fatal Frame game we'd play, and Krispy
That was the
ended
one
up-
I voted for.
Crispy ended up playing all
Just
6
for,
hours.
for the record, you could have closed the poll before you went live.
It was,
so you had
it was
time
closed.
to download it.
No, you don't, dude. Did you not hear my story about how I was house sitting the entire weekend and I was never home?
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I heard this.
You was homeless all weekend?
It was that this whole weekend was kind of a pain in the ass for me. So I apologize for that.
Is that good?
Oh yeah, don't worry about that.
Okay.
You sure?
Yes, that's has something to do with
Okay.
Audacity. Anyways, Krispy.
Yeah.
Well, we were worried about
We played Fatal Frame 3. I think I played for somewhere around like 5
So,
hours.
you started this thing, and you kept playing it.
And I was
kept
like, there was
going.
one time where I stopped playing for about 10 minutes because I wanted to eat some pizza, but the rest of the time that game was being
Carlos
played,
didn't feed you pizza?
He
well,
did.
he did,
He
but
did
then
feed
he
pizza.
kept getting it all over my face.
Did,
and-
were you struggling? I mean, did you like?
No, I think we got through like 3 or 4 of the 3 of the chapters, I think.
So stuff was happening. You weren't just like.
Yeah,
It wasn't just much of build up to like.
We did get to a few
scares,
ghosts
it was,
that were having we were having some issue, or Krispy was having some issues with.
There were a couple times where, there was specifically one time where I was fighting a ghost that was this guy with a cleaver that was really fast, and he was such a pain in the dick, and I kept dying to him over and over, and then I finally killed him, and then right after I killed him, it was like in a courtyard or something, and I walked into a room very near that courtyard, and it had a mod for the camera that slows down ghosts. And I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, that would have
But
been
he
so
did
helpful.
beat it without that mod.
Nice.
Yeah.
Were you
It's
just
always a
good?
good feeling when you beat a really difficult boss, not using a mechanic that's supposed to make the boss
Yeah.
easier.
like
Yeah.
Father Gascoigne.
Gascoigne.
I was thinking more like what was that from?
Father
Ripper
Gingerbread.
Mode from Rising.
Oh my god.
That I didn't know Ripper Mode existed until after I beat the game.
Which is hilarious.
Yeah.
So Krispy, what did you think about that? Was your first Fatal Frame game?
Was it
Yeah.
scary?
Mechanics wise, well,
Well, I
Yeah,
want
because
to talk about.
it's-
It's a horror game. I want to know if you were scared.
I was really nervous until I got comfortable with how the camera works. At that
Okay.
point, it kind of stopped.
The camera upstairs.
it also is a little hard to be really
Yeah, okay.
truly scared with Carlos whispering
And I
in your ear
should
the
say
entire
also
time.
the game camera too,
Yeah.
because it's one of those old style where like the camera's always a fixed point. So like you'll be like, even if you're in a space that's big enough, there could be 3 or 4 different camera angles,
Yeah.
and I always get fucked up when like I get stuck on a transition between 2 areas, and like she'll just kind of like jump back and forth between them, because hitting up on the stick is one input in this scene and a different input in the other scene.
That's why
you
those
know.
games originally had tank controls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Here's my question: like, is this new Fatal Frame going to do anything new with the way that game controls? Because I feel like
Probably not.
part of me feels like the way the game controls and the way those was so ingrained in that game that they wouldn't change it. But at the same time,
Well,
it's so frustrating.
You
sometimes.
have the pad as well. in this
Yeah,
new
but I
one,
mean,
so
it's still, but it's
you're going to be holding it
it's
up.
still a dual analog setup. It's still going to control exactly like the PS2 version did.
yeah.
No, but I'm saying I think you like look for ghosts.
Yeah,
But he's talking about the movement, not the camera.
like the actual way the characters move. Like which I guess is tank-esque.
The other thing that I don't know, I guess I've heard you guys talk about these games a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't know if maybe I just didn't get far enough in the game, but I was kind of expecting there to be more in the way of like nothing really gameplay related, but stuff that just kind of like fucks with you.
Well, you
know,
pretty much
It
every
didn't seem
Fatal Frame starts off with, and this is why
slow.
I like the. It doesn't just start off slowly. It starts off with like there's like consistency to how it works. You know, where you see a ghost, you follow it. You see a ghost and the light is blue. That means it's not dangerous, and it's red. That means it is dangerous, and everything. You pull up your camera, you take a picture, it goes away.
Yeah.
Like there's like consistent rules, and later on in those games they start like fucking with that a little bit, and you start to get more uncomfortable because you like take a picture and you're like, okay, well, why hasn't that gone away?
They let you feel safe.
They let you feel safe, They give you safe rooms, especially in Fatal Frame 3, where you go back to your house.
That was the thing. Like the creepiest shit that happened that whole game,
Which is all
was like when they started fucking with you in the house, and I didn't see a lot of that, but like. There was between one mission, like you'd go back and buy the shrine, buy used shrine, like her dead boyfriend or whatever. Like there'd be a little ghost, and that was kind of just like, oh my ghost, and then it faded away, and it was like, oh, that's weird. The one that really fucking freaked me out though
the thing you're about to say right now is the one thing about Fatal Frame that when I think of Fatal Frame, I think of this exact moment because it's the most memorable thing of that entire game.
It was like it's me and the character's roommate, the girl, I guess, from the first Fatal Frame.
Yeah.
And they're in the living room, and it's night, and it's, like, storming or whatever. I don't even remember exactly, like, how it happened or how we noticed, but, like, they have under the stairs, they have a closet with, like, just a little curtain that hangs down. It's not even, like, a door, and it doesn't go all the way down. And there was just, like, what I thought was a pair of boots under the curtain.
But it was feet.
But it was feet.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's really weird. Like, oh, that kind of looks like feet. Oh, they put boots in there and it looks like feet. And I like changed scenes and like changed back, and when I came back they were gone, and I was like, ugh. That was way creepier than like the ghosts just kind of like floating down hallways.
The thing is, they start to amp that up. Like the house starts to become one of the scariest moments in the game.
Yeah,
there's some crazy shit that happens in that house. The reason I voted for Fatal Frame 2 was because I feel like that game, it doesn't have the hook 3 does, because the hook for 3 obviously is going back to the home, obviously, and that's where things start to get really crazy.
Yeah.
When you go back into the main world, it's not so different. It's kind of like typical Fatal Frame stuff.
It's like when you're in the main world, you're like, okay, I'm in the scary part. I'm expecting to fight ghosts, and there's ghosts.
Yeah.
Or, when you're expecting it, it loses its impact.
Sure,
a little bit.
But Fatal Frame 2 is it takes place in like this whole village. It's it's more open space. You're going in and out of buildings. You're in the streets. There's like gardens and courtyards and caves, and
that sounds really cool.
It's a really cool
atmosphere.
Environment and atmosphere, and it creates a really cool atmosphere. And I think some of my favorite moments of the whole series are in that game, but 3 really kind of flips the formula on its head by introducing the house, and like
2's just too easy. That's my problem with it, is that I feel like some of the scares go out the window.
Sure, but like I like Fatal Frame a lot. I don't necessarily go to that game wanting a challenge. I go to it because I want to be freaked out. I want to see some shit that freaks me out.
True.
And I think it's always done that really well.
There were a couple times where I thought like, oh, this is gonna be a scare, and like nothing happened.
They're also really good at doing that, like making you think something's about to happen and it doesn't.
But like, there were a couple times where like I'd just be walking along and a ghost would come out of the wall and start attacking me, and that was like legitimately like scary, like kind of weird. Because then it's just like I have to pull up the camera, and then like the camera controls are, I don't know if it's just I'm not used to them, but they're kind of clunky, They are. And everyone kept telling me like, oh, you can move while you've got the camera up, and it's literally like she takes like a set like 2 seconds to take one step. Like she moves really fucking slow with that camera.
Yeah.
So I was trying to do it where I was like running around and positioning without the camera, and then when I'm where I want to be, pull the camera up.
Yeah.
Because that just
I think that's
seemed
the
to make
best
more,
way to do it.
That made more sense to me.
Yeah.
That's kind of like, that was more of just like a panic mode. But once you get like one shot in on the ghost, like I feel like it's kind of like, I got you now, like I got you, fucking got you, and especially if you can get that combo, like pull off that combo. That was the hardest part about that one ghost with the hatches. Like every time, because you have to like photograph their face.
Yeah.
So every time he'd go to do his animation to attack me, he would like swing his head wide, and it would go out of like right in front of me, and it'd go right out of frame, and I couldn't get him.
People always talk about like that these games you play them because they're fucking terrifying, but I actually think like the gameplay
it was a fun
in these games is good.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of these horror games, these survival horror games, you know, the ones that are really trying to go for, oh, you're a weak little girl or whatever, running around and you're encountering, like you're not, this game is hard because you're unequipped to handle what's thrown at you. Yeah. Usually those games just have really bad mechanics, and they're not fun to play ever. Yeah. But Fatal Frame is a game that is scary, but also has really solid gameplay mechanics.
Yeah, like the whole film thing, like managing your film quantities and quality, and switching back and forth, seeing which film is best for which situations, upgrading your camera. Yeah. It's all really cool. I'm really kind of surprised that they have yet to introduce the feature that allows you to switch film on the fly without having to go into your menu.
Yeah.
Did they do that in 4? Because I haven't played 4.
I think 4 probably
it would make more sense if it was a thing where you had to actually like pull up a menu to switch all your film and everything, but the game was still going. Mm-hmm. You know, like if there was a danger to you having to go through this kind of cumbersome system to switch your film. But yeah, without like since it's in the pause menu, which stops the game, and you have to like go through menus, switch your film, like it just doesn't make that much sense. It'd be better if they did have some kind of like hot swap option. But like
Chris Davis brought up the point I was going to make, that it's kind of similar to how Zombie U does it. How when you go into your menu, it doesn't pause the game.
Yeah.
And I was thinking maybe in the new one they might do something similar to that.
I feel like this new Fatal Frame, I'm actually really excited there's a new Fatal Frame coming this year.
Yeah.
Because it's not only is it, you know, kind of a quote-unquote next-gen Fatal Frame on the Wii U, but like this is the first time I feel like they might actually introduce some new things, even if it's just things that kind of improve the way the game flows or the way the game plays.
I think there's cool stuff
they got a great foundation
they could do with that. The gameplay is a lot of fun. I think just the whole idea of like using the camera as a weapon, and the camera itself in the game, how you can add different attachments to it, the different film, like the fact that you actually have a full album of like all the pictures you've taken. So like every time you're striking an enemy, there's like a screenshot of that. You know, like that's really cool. And some of those pictures are fucking like.
Well, yeah, the whole concept of you are essentially doing the most damage to this enemy when it's at its scariest.
Yeah.
Right in your face, about to kill you.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I think it's funny, like, though, like, there's that one ghost that you fought, like, 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
Which I think was a glitch. She kept showing up in the same room over and over, no matter how many times he killed her, which was weird.
Oh, yeah, the one with the little girl and the mother.
Yeah, and you kept getting pictures of the mother at, like, that exact same moment. And if you go into your album, it's, like, 20 pictures look exactly the same.
Of just her, just, like
her head's kind of tilted to the right, and she's, like, right in the frame. Yeah. And it's, like, every time.
Some of them
he would get that fatal frame shot every time.
Did he do Crawling Ghost?
He didn't get the Crawling Ghost yet. Like, they started introducing different kinds of ghosts, like the way ghosts that move different, that look differently. Like I told him about Christina Ricci from Fatal Frame 1, which is literally just a floating head that looks like Christina Ricci.
Yeah.
Like if I don't know how much of those old Fatal Frame videos you've watched of ours, but if you haven't spent any time and you're interested in the series now, I'd recommend, especially if you're not going to go back and play the old ones, go back and watch some of those, because, you know, there's a reason they're so popular, is because there's some
Carlos around.
This was
you never know. I've been accused of having my Outlast experience not be as scary because Carlos was there.
Fuck that guy.
I have accused you of that.
It was definitely like, I think the fact that we were all hanging out and we were like having fun and cracking jokes about Fukuhu and all this stuff was like kind of diminished some of the atmosphere.
I bet say it's next to impossible to be scared with Carlos on your shoulder, like whispering things in your ear,
shoving pizza in your
mouth. But I'm glad that you spent a lot of time playing it.
But that's the other thing. I think if I'd been alone, I probably wouldn't have got nearly as far as
because you were saying like you still had no idea what was happening in the story, and that wouldn't be the case if you had been totally focused on it. And honestly, that game doesn't really have much in the way of comic relief. That game is really oppressive.
I mean, from what I gather, it was this girl's boyfriend was investigating something, and then he died, and now she's just like following along with it. The thing I wanted to see where it was going was like the boyfriend was getting mail from someone he was working with who was like helping him with the investigation was like, I'm just gonna keep sending you these cassette tapes from time to time, and you go over them when you have a chance. And she just keeps like receiving them. I thought maybe there was gonna be some kind of like twist on that at the end.
Wait,
it's just
you're
like
not
this,
finished with the game.
I mean, those stories that I think the stories in Fatal Frame are pretty satisfying.
They always
all
get pretty twisted.
They all feel pretty self-contained, and they have like they feel like really good ghost stories by the time it's all said and done.
Definitely.
We've been talking.
If we haven't talked about Fuguhui 8 yet.
Oh,
I don't know. What
well,
that
we
means.
can get to that.
Was it the? Anytime you play a horror game, there's always this one random person who's like an expert, and usually these things are.
No.
Wait, no.
Is this not that?
No, we busted out a Ouija board.
Fuguhui 8
Oh, God.
is the ghost that we summoned in Nick's apartment.
Oh god!
with the
cursed
King
him.
Joffrey pen.
Did y'all film all this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll
It's
probably be on
Twitch.
YouTube. That was the dumbest thing we've ever done.
It was so much fun.
In the years that I've been doing 4Player, might be the dumbest thing we've ever done on the feed. But
I don't
then-
mess with the Ouija board.
And then Fuguhui 8
It was
showed up
literally
and-
a Ouija board we printed off my printer, and we couldn't find anything to use. And I found in my bedroom I had a pin I got in the comic book store in Pittsburgh.
Oh, with the
Remember
picture,
that I got on the counter. It was a Game of Thrones pin with King Joffrey's face on it, and we were using that as
our little pointer.
the pointer.
And we summoned a ghost and talked to him for a little bit, and he was cool. And then he made a Twitch channel and subscribed to us, and
And then he started tweeting at us.
Then he made a Twitter account and started tweeting pictures from inside.
And it became
Nick's
a
apartment.
thing. It became a thing. I don't know.
We found out he was slightly homophobic, and we banned him.
I don't know, but that turned out that was a pretty interesting night. Leave it to Carlos to we print out a Ouija board. I was like, oh my god! And of course,
great.
like, it was funny because we're doing this charity to raise money for for the military, which was a great cause. And we were getting donations throughout the day, but it was kind of slow. And then we did the whole Ouija board thing, and at the very end, we're like, if we get we're at like I don't know. $420. If we make it up to 500, we'll do another Ouija board session, and in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Ouija board session.
Nice.
Well, y'all should have made it higher than that.
We didn't know. People liked Ouija so much.
No, I mean that's what gets
Actually,
people to care about
the ghost is
troops.
real too because it helped Nick find a receipt under his bed.
Yeah, I found an important tax document hidden under my bed thanks to Fuguhui 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should
There
have put it
you
higher
go.
than that. Because it was slow going. I was going to play some Hitman if we had hit a very reasonable goal that we never quite hit at the end of the marathon. So instead, I played a whole bunch of Castlevania Symphony of the Night because...
What was your reasonable goal? $1,500?
No, it was 700. It was 700.
Okay.
And this was a game that, obviously I've been thinking a lot about Castlevania. People
all
have kind of
have.
wanted to see me play some, talk about some of these games.
Pocock's been playing the original Castlevania on the feed.
Yeah, which that game's tough, but
Good on him. I was watching and I was like, I'll just watch you.
that game is beatable. I've beaten the original Castlevania. You want a hard Castlevania? Play Castlevania
I
3.
do not
that game
want
is
a hard
fucking
Castlevania.
impossible. But yeah. So I was
Fuguhui 8's in chat. Sorry. Continue.
okay.
That's the ghost in my apartment.
Yes. No, I was listening. So yeah. What?
Castlevania.
So this is Symphony of the Night. There's lots of bats, you would expect. So yeah, I played some Symphony of the Night because I like Symphony of the Night, and I sort of realized because a few days prior to this, I had played. I had asked on Twitter, like, well, I want to play Nigavania, obviously, because I'm pretty pumped, which was I like to see me play. And the consensus was that they wanted me to play Order of Ecclesia. So I did, and that game is fine. In fact, I think that game is pretty great, and I enjoyed what I played of it. But I sort of realized that, and I always knew this, that Symphony of the Night really is the best one, and it is my favorite. And sort of thinking about it and playing some more of it, I started to realize why.
Hey,
because you think of something like
real
you
quick
played
question.
Dawn of Sorrow.
Real quick question was, this may be a dumb question. I apologize.
Yeah.
Koji Igarashi, was he involved in all of those Castlevania games,
Yes.
including Lord of Ecclesia and all that?
Yes.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah. I mean, pretty much all the ones that are like this are Iga's games.
Okay.
Except Circle of the Moon. He wasn't responsible for Circle of the Moon.
Is that one well received or?
Yeah, that one's well received. That was the first GBA one. Yeah, like I was saying, this, and I've been kind of tweeting about this a lot and stuff, but I sort of realized that this game was kind of like my Dark Souls. And it's Dark Souls not because it's super difficult, because, hey, you know what? Dark Souls is not all about being hard. There's a lot to those games. And what's crazy about a series like, you know, the Souls games is that there's all kinds of weird shit in them. They're just really weird, crazy game with all kinds of stuff to like find and discover,
like hidden secrets,
like hidden secrets and weird mechanics, and just like stuff that like you almost wouldn't believe until when someone told you, until you've kind of tried it for yourself. And
it's like using certain items in certain places.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly what that's the draw. I mean, I'm playing Bloodborne a lot right now. That's very similar to those kind of games.
That is this game, and this was, you know, like, I guess, you know, some younger generations with like Dark Souls and stuff. This was the game that I went to school and I would talk to, you know, my friends with at school, and we all be playing this game, and it would be sharing what we've done, and we'd all be like, no way, like, no fucking way, are you kidding me? Like, just stuff that sounded crazy and awesome. And like, I don't think this is maybe the best Igavania, I don't, but it is definitely my favorite because of how just odd and weird it is, because it's not the most balanced, you know, it doesn't have the most defined systems. Like, you can do a spell very early on in the game, which, you know, any spell, if you have enough MP to cast it and you know how to do it, you can do it like from the get-go. Now there's these things that you have to. Yeah.
Alucard is Dracula spelled backwards.
Shut up, Nick. So I will say I was playing the Dracula X version of this game, so it was with the retranslation and the new voice acting. This actually had. Nolan, did you think you could get up there without the double jump? Wait, I had double jump.
Well,
that's not common.
I show up to Brad's today, and he's like, "Nolan, I need you to play Castlevania for 10 minutes."
I had to go poo.
And so I play Castlevania for the first time since like 2009. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I apparently loaded the wrong save file. Calm down, Brad.
You sweet summer child, as Brad would like to say.
Yeah. But yeah, there's all kinds of like crazy weapons and items and potions. It's insane. Like, this is a fucking RPG. And there's just so much random stuff in there that's just sort of thrown in. And like half of it's probably not even that useful. But that reminds me of like fucking Souls games. You know what I mean?
Escalo has a very interesting question. Given your statement a minute ago that you don't think this is actually the best Igavania, well, what is the best Igavania?
I think this is the Igavania with the best level design. I think it has the best music. I think it looks the best. But I think a game like Aria of Sorrow or Dawn of Sorrow, like the systems are much tighter and smarter, and like the balance of, like, you know, the bosses in the game and just sort of the arc of difficulty as you play through those games is more consistent than this game. What I'm saying is on paper maybe this one's not the best. But
it is your favorite.
And I understand why it's the favorite of a lot of people. I mean, there's just weird shit that you'll discover. Like, there's so many items that just have hidden moves that no one ever explains, and it's the kind of stuff where, like, you know, you get these, like a fist weapon that punches, and, you know, I go to school the next day and they're like, dude, do you know, like, no other weapon's really like this, but if you do like a Hadouken motion, he will throw a fireball. And I'm like what? Like, are you, like, that shit was crazy back in the day. I mean, there's so much there. Like, you get this weapon called the Shield Rod in the game, and like every shield in the game has an ability if you combine it with the Shield Rod, which is just the staff. You know, no one tells you that if you attack and hit the shield block button at the same time, it does like an ability. And like the spells that you can do with it are just like, they range from like buffs to like crazy just like room clearing spells to just like insane shit. Like if you get the Alucard shield, the one that you have at the beginning of the game that gets taken away, that you don't get back to the very end of the game with the shield rod, he just like puts up a shield and you just become a walking wall of
just
death.
Walk through and like kill things.
Like that, it's so imbalanced and overpowered, but it's so fucking weird and cool.
And it's hidden, so it's
like... that's also one of those things that when this game came out, you only had word of mouth to, you know, hear about stuff like that. There wasn't the internet. You couldn't just look up a guide as to how to get this.
And not to mention, like, that's even magnified by the fact that, like, there is really, really rare drops that like certain enemies have a very, very small percentage to drop. You know, like it's a fucking Diablo game or something. So you hear like, dude,
What the fuck is
so,
that?
so you hear like, dude, upside down castle. There's these little ghosts. They're called Shmoos. Kill like 500 of them. He'll eventually drop a sword that called the Crisagrim, which let me kill Dracula in 5 seconds. And you're like, what are you talking about? You're just making shit up. But you get it, and it's like insane. Like that's why.
Yes, going through all of that to get it is insane.
You know, I'm really
No,
getting.
but that's what's cool. That's what's missing from a lot of like this is a fucking RPG. People start lumping this like Metroidvanias together. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, Metroidvania, those games that are like Castlevania and like Metroid. But these Castlevania games are a much different beast than the Metroid games that you know, like Super Metroid and what a lot of these indie games are. Like stuff like Guacamelee and Shadow Complex and all these. Come on, Nolan. And these, I think you're like doing something at this point.
No, sorry.
Oh,
I miss Brad.
I am hungry, but I'm not gonna eat that carrot you just threw it at me.
like
Can you throw it back at me?
well,
Probably covered in dog hair.
I'm not gonna eat it.
saying is a lot of the Metroidvanias, quote unquote, that are coming out these days are just Metroid likes. Like what made Igavanias what they are these like crazy RPG elements, and I'm not exaggerating. The fact that like it has a deeper loot system than most RPGs out there. Like that shield rod, there's more special secret abilities that are tied to that one weapon than there's probably is in the entirety of Bloodborne.
Probably.
Yeah.
And that's with a single weapon, and there are dozens and dozens of crazy fucking weapons and secrets in this game. Like I was discovering, like I watched Iga play this game recently, and I was discovering stuff I'd never seen before.
Yeah.
And I played this game like through at least half a dozen times, and I was doing stuff on Sunday that people who are watching had never seen before. You know, like this is a game you can play for dozens of hours, while you know most of these games like Metroid and all the likes that are coming out, you know, you play them for 8 to 12 hours to 100% them, and you're just kind of done with them. Mm-hmm. Well, like this is a game where I'm still doing stuff and seeing stuff that I've never.
I'm getting pretty.
never even known about.
You know, I'm getting kind of in that mood to play a Castlevania.
Well,
And I was thinking about. Well, I mean, I have access to this one. I was also thinking about playing Portrait of Ruin just because it's not the obvious choice.
Well, yeah, but Nick, like, so this one is like the level design in this one is so memorable. I mean, it's far better than Portrait of Ruin's level design. The thing is, we unlocked it for you on your Vita. I know. Well, and this looks better than Portrait of Ruin on your Vita, at least. Like,
We'll see.
I
I mean,
highly recommend this game.
Honestly, there's. I would have to buy Portrait of Ruin. I don't really feel like buying it right
Well,
now.
man,
So
I
maybe
can let you borrow it. But like I said, play this game. This pops up on a lot of lists of people's favorite games for a reason.
Okay. No.
You know, and
don't give up.
I have not
Don't
made
give
a-
up on that like some people we know.
yeah, I mean, it is tough at first, but like you become such a god in this game.
Dude,
Like
fuck all of you guys. I'm never talking about, listening to any conversation that has to do with Castlevania ever again. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
The thing is, you were so close
Dude,
to
fuck
like
off.
getting over that.
Fuck
hump.
off. I don't even care.
You
I
know,
don't even care.
when I played on
really
Sunday-
don't care. La, 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 la.
Crispy, listen. When I played on Sunday, you know what part I struggled with? Getting up those stairs.
They're the fucking worst.
They're
I
the
agree.
fucking worst.
They're bad.
I played this game so many times, and I was struggling with that. And I feel like that was the moment that broke you in that game.
Fuck you guys.
I'm just saying.
Fuck you guys.
Confirmed.
You got to keep going.
That-
You played 6 hours of Fatal Frame. Your gaming life should be different now.
Oh my god.
You should be able to do things that you
You know,
never
while
thought
you were
could
talking
do.
about this, I was looking at the Wikipedia page for Aria Sorrow, thinking, oh, maybe I should try this one instead. And now
Oh,
I can't even think about Castlevania without thinking of you shitlords. Like, ugh, fuck you guys.
But
Like,
can't you get RSR on your Wii U?
yeah,
Yeah, get that. Like I said, it's a much
No.
more balanced game.
no.
He's out of principle. Just no. Anyways, we need to move on from Castlevania. We know the game's good. I'm still very excited. Did you all see the latest update on the Kickstarter where they were showing off some concept art for some of the the environments and stuff? Like that game still is looking really cool.
Real quick on that. Did y'all hear about the classic mode?
No.
So they are making a mode. Like once they hit 2.5 million, which they will, of course.
Yep.
In fact, they're about to hit it. They're doing a classic mode where they're going to take assets from the game and sort of remix them, tweak the amount of health, like the damage that he deals and the damage he takes, like increases significantly, change like the way his jump works, and actually make a like structured level based classic Castlevania using the assets of this game, which is Igavania. Which there's a big divide there. I mean, there's people that from like back in the there's people who look at classic Castlevania who don't like the Igavanias.
Those people actually work for Mercury Steam.
Yeah. Well, those are what I call bad people, but it's cool that they're doing this, because what I also realize is I've always assumed that I finished every Igavania game, any game that he had made with Castlevania in the title. I found out that it was actually his team that did Castlevania Adventure Rebirth, which was the game that came out on the Wii Virtual Console or WiiWare. They called it, which was a total like throwback old school Castlevania game, like true through and through, and people love that game. I had no idea that was an Iga game. I thought it was some other third party studio that worked on that, but like he has the chops to make that type of game, so this mode could be really cool. But yeah, a little aside. Sorry.
What else?
Nolan? What'd you play, Nolan? Or
Nolan's
or
next.
rather, what are?
So I did a Community.
Yeah.
And I did TTT was the first game we played, and played a bunch of it. It's still as good as it ever was. The problem is we like some people are just too good.
Like you, Nolan, right?
No, not like me, like other people. And like there was this one guy, and I died pretty soon, and I just followed him because you can ghost around when you're dead. And he was just destroying people. He would just walk in a room, kill a guy, run out, and people would walk in and be like, "Who did this?" Like he was just so fucking good. But it was still fun. I still enjoy TTT. I always try to use the benefit of the doubt when it comes to those games, especially like screen watchers.
Yeah,
can really like ruin your experience. And I
happens.
try and just like especially because after that we play Prop Hunt. And that's one of the things where you have to hide, and sometimes you stay in the same place for a long time.
Yeah.
And sometimes when someone walks in a room and immediately shoots you, it's a little like. But I try and take the benefit of the doubt, and maybe they just got lucky. But anyway, after we played Prop Hunt, and that game is just so fucking wacky and fun, and just like.
I have a quick question about Prop Hunt that I never quite understood because I've never played it myself.
Sure.
What sets off the taunts?
You do it manually.
But why would you ever do that? Just to fuck with people?
Yeah, just to fuck with people. Because the funny thing is in the servers I'd played in the past, your sprays didn't show up for other people, the other teams. So in these Counter-Strike's games, these Half-Life games, you can have a spray. Well, I guess on most
Which you
Steam
probably shouldn't have
games.
sprays when you're broadcasting, but.
Oh yeah, that's true. But I have my own spray, and my spray is me and you playing Pikmin 3.
No, yeah, I know.
Okay.
I know. I saw you put me in the closet.
I didn't put you in the closet. I just
you did.
Well, both of us were in the closet.
I popped in just in time to see my face in the closet, and I was like, "What the fuck, Nolan?"
But anyway, so you can spray, and so my spray is like me looking all excited, and a lot of the times I'll spray it on the wall and just hide under my spray. And so it's funny because there's this one scene where I'm like a little like bedpost, like a side table, and with my face over the wall, and people just running past me, just running back and forth past me.
But it's really telegraphing that you're right there.
Yeah, and then there was another one where I had my spray and I sprayed it behind a couch, so it's just my face peeking over the couch, and I'm like hiding behind it. And one of my favorite things to do in that game is like you can be. Almost any item, any movable item in the world you can become. So you can become like an orange, like a tiny fucking orange, which is really fast and maneuverable, but only has like 1 health. So you get shot once, you're dead, but it makes it easier to escape from people shooting you. Or you can be giant items like bookshelves and stuff, or like a fucking locker, like a thing of lockers, like 5 lockers wide.
It doesn't matter what Nolan is. He always takes the same strategy, and that's that he never stays still. He just waits to see someone coming down the hall, peek out, and as soon as they round the corner, he goes the other way.
Yep.
And when that guy turns around to come back, he fucking like hiding behind a corner, and then he runs the other way. This motherfucker.
There was like literally like a 5-minute like chunk of like this, or I guess the entire match is 5 minutes. There was at least like a 3-minute chunk where this one guy kept trying to find me because he knew I was there. But every time he would run past, I would like skirt under his legs and run and hide in another room and then keep going. Because that's I like to be the small items because it's you're less likely to get shot, and kind of like just zip around and hide under their feet and stuff like that. Yeah. But I don't know, it's still a lot of fun, and especially that server. We didn't realize till like the very end of the evening that certain servers, if you play on them a lot, you'll earn points for playing on that server, and you can buy like things to customize your character. We didn't realize that all the skins were free, and so by the end of the match, I was the Flash, and someone else was Batman, and there was like a Terry McGinnis bat. Yeah, like all these fucking just crazy looking things like that they've made in the engine that you can.
Crazy.
Yeah. Make your character look like.
But Nolan, have you played anything that has footage?
Yeah.
Like what?
But I thought we were talking about like stuff from that night.
I don't know.
Well, wait. What did you play that has footage?
State of Decay.
Oh, that's right.
That's right.
State of Decay. Like it was like right on cue. He said State of Decay, and boom.
Yeah, I did play State of Decay. I played some on my broadcast last week. And I don't have footage from that because I got the Year 1 Survival Edition.
Wait, isn't that?
Yes, it came out in 2013.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know why they called it the Year 1 Survival Edition. Don't ask me. Ask Sonya.
Yeah, 2013.
Yep.
That's weird.
That's an old.
That can't be
like
true.
Yes.
It came out on PC in 2013.
Maybe.
I think they just updated that version
I don't think so.
to the survival.
Anyway, let's not talk about semantics. Let's talk about the game.
Sure.
I started a campaign in the classic State of Decay mode, and I think because I knew what I was doing, I found it way too easy.
Yeah.
Like I moved. You have the church is where you kind of start the church in that little town, and then you eventually can move somewhere else.
Yeah.
Where like within like an hour and a half, I was already at the facility, and I had everything built up, and I had like everything was maxed out. They kept telling me you have too many supplies. Like I had too much.
For those listening, this is the open world zombie game.
Correct.
From
Undead Labs.
Undead Labs.
Open world survival game, scavenging.
Which originally came out as a title. Wasn't that part of Summer of Arcade?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
it was. And so so in the classic mode, I just found it was too easy. You know, like all my guys were maxing. I just didn't feel the challenge. And so I knew there was 2 DLCs that came with it. Breakdown, which is a mode that's kind of like a survival mode. You drop in with a random character and survive as long as you can. Just collect as many parts as you can, like not parts, but like materials, and just earn points, kind of. And then Lifeline, which is an actual separate story mode where you play as this military group who's in this town that's been overrun, and you kind of go to this landing zone.
Is it a different world?
No, it's the same universe. It's like just like a different part of the world. Like,
but it's a different map.
Correct. Yeah, it's a completely new map. So you're the military, and you're trying to evac some special like people. Like there's this guy who maybe has a cure or something like that, and so like you try and evac him, and then other people who have like assistance for him and stuff like that. So there's actually a story to it. But the main difference in between this mode is after a certain amount of time, you can see on the bottom left there's a 1 under the mini map in a triangle. It's kind of small. It's hard to see, but that's like the threat level. And that will go up to 2, and then go up to 3, and then once it hits 3, you got to get fucking back to your base because there's going to be an attack on your base. Like, so what happens is, because, you know, there's zombies running around randomly, and throughout the day, as time goes by, more and more zombies kind of start to get near your base because there's a lot of commotion going on there. There's helicopters coming in, dropping off supplies, you know, there's stuff like that, and so they get attracted to your base, and so after enough time goes by, a siege happens on your base, and you have to go back to your base and defend it. Like the early on sieges, like the first couple, the AI can probably just handle it by themselves, but you got to get back there eventually because it starts getting really intense. And so one of the frustrating things about that is you have limited time throughout the I don't want to say day, because like a day-night cycle is irrelevant to the siege. The siege is just based on time passing.
Yeah.
I do think doing missions might slow down This was frustrating for me because the fucking AI would not get in the car, and so I was like, come on, bro. And I just had to push him out of his little spot.
You literally have to push him out.
I mean, one of the issues people have with this game, it's buggy, and it is a little buggy.
Yeah, the game's always been buggy.
But I mean, for the team they have and the world they built, I understand.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
it's pretty impressive.
The things that are great about State of Decay outweigh the
Correct.
issues.
The issue, yeah. It's much better. But they did it. Like, this is one of the new vehicles, and you all saw me using my technique of using your car door to eliminate enemies because if you fucking bloaters are the worst. If you do too much,
gotta move past that.
What?
The same zombie tropes that were established in Left 4
eventually. I think the problem is Left 4 Dead created some fucking great zombie types.
Yeah,
and so some other people, you have the big juggernaut, the big guy who takes a lot of damage and deals a lot of damage, the one that explodes and poisons you. You have like the fucking one that pounces on you, which is the fucking worst because he's so fucking nimble, and if he gets you, you're fucked.
There's the one who always double parks.
Yeah,
there's the one who's always talking on his phone whenever he gets up to the cash register.
Mm-hmm.
You just gotta think outside the box.
Yeah. And I'm sure eventually we'll see that.
Child molester zombie.
I don't even want to know.
So this is one of the mechanics of the game, is going to these survey points, and kind of looking around and seeing what's around you. And that's kind of an important thing because you're out. Like right now, I'm out scavenging for supplies because the one thing I'm always lacking in this game so far, at least me personally, is ammo. So you have like physical bullets, and I never run out of those. You're the military, you got a lot of bullets. But like similar to the original State of Decay, you have to manage your resources. So you have food, you have medicine, you have ammo, you have materials, and you have gasoline. And those are what you need to keep your base going. Depending on how many people you have at your base, those resources will go down more. If you add an extra person, your daily food rations will go down a little more every day. Build more buildings, you need more like materials and stuff like that. Whatever. And the thing is, so the base defense gets really difficult. And one of the things I found that makes it a lot easier is you can set up stuff around your base.
Like traps, right?
Yeah, like traps. So you can set up mines, you can set up propane tanks, you can set up like these firework things that will so the mines, if the zombies run over them, they blow up. The propane tanks are just kind of sitting around, so if you see a group getting close to a propane tank, you shoot it blows up, takes them all out. The fireworks, you can shoot them, it sets it off, the fireworks start making lots of noise, all the zombies run over to it, it blows up. But those take resources, mainly ammo, to keep those stocked, and I always make sure I have those stocked because that makes the sieges so much fucking easier.
Yeah. But I mean, this was all so. Lifeline is just kind of like more State of Decay. It's harder. It's on a new map. But is there anything that's
is it more gun centric because you're in the military?
So you're the military, and honestly, I think I focused a lot more on guns than I did in previous games because, like I was saying.
That base is a lot
No,
bigger.
Kris, I did not try and visit the center of the city, which is what he's asking me. No, I fucking avoided that. I'm still playing the game. I'll probably eventually go there. But so the thing is, I have a lot of supplies right now, like building materials, and I've been making suppressors with those. And so the thing out in the world is, I don't really care because I'll have lots of bullets and lots of suppressors. So I've been shooting a lot of zombies. More so. When you played the original State of Decay, I'm sure you probably stuck away from guns most of the time because guns make noise, they draw in other zombies, and that's kind of something you try to avoid.
Something you pull out when the shit gets bad.
Exactly. But in this game, it was much easier because you have more ammo. I've never ran out of suppressors. And also, I always have another army personnel with me because in the original State of Decay, to bring someone with you out into the field, it costs 100 influence, and influence is kind of like your general currency that you use in the game. It costs 100, and eventually they would be like, okay, I'm heading back to base, and they would leave you. And this, it's only 20 influence, and they don't leave you. And so I find it much easier to always have an extra hand with me because it helps out a whole lot.
Military man with a pain.
Exactly. Well, no, that's not. That's just like a random civilian we found. That's not like my mission right now was to get this guy back to base, but I was like, third person with me. I'll just go scavenge while I have the extra help. But you can see right now on the bottom left, it went up to 2. threat level 2. And so the time between 1 and 2 is like X amount, and then 2 and 3 it's much shorter, and then 3 in the actual siege is very quick.
It's
like
a steady incline.
Yeah, and so as soon as I see 3, I fucking book it back to base. And that right there, that little fucking cone of red, the hordes are the worst in this game. So if you recall in the previous game, you'd set up the outposts that would just blow up when the hordes got near, right?
Yeah.
And so this, it's not so much I want to control the hordes near my base, it's I want to control the hordes everywhere, because I'm constantly having to go out and rescue people and bring them back. If the horde gets...
People are more likely to get lost if there's more hordes out there.
Exactly. So what the hordes do is as soon as the horde appears, is it has a destination it's trying to get to. And once it gets there, it causes an infestation, which creates a whole lot more zombies in that area, becoming more dangerous. And so I started this game out, and literally like a third, maybe even half of my day was spent dealing with hordes, like seeing a horde, trying and going to stop it before it made an infestation. And I like ended up like just like drawing out all of my supplies, just trying to fucking deal with that constantly. And if you ever notice when I pull up the mini map, now my outposts aren't centralized; they're actually spread out. So what I ended up doing was I actually completely restarted the game, Lifeline, and I focused on putting my outposts where I noticed there were a lot of hordes going, to try and essentially limit the amount of work I did. And it helped tremendously. Like, there's so much, let's see how it's 3, and I all of a sudden get in my car and I start booking it.
So would you say it requires a bit more strategy than the original State of Decay?
All right.
Like, you can't just have your outpost willy-nilly. You have to focus on, helping to eliminate the day-by-day, like, horde drones. And so right now I'm heading back to the base because the siege is about to start.
Yeah.
And that's when mine haven't been too difficult, because there's another mechanic in this game where you can have your troops at the base doing something. They can either be out looking for more troops.
It's like Warcraft.
Yeah, kind of. You can have them out looking for more troops to give you more soldiers to join. You can have them out looking for materials, and they can just help you gather more resources. Or you can have them out thinning.
When in the first game, you were doing all that yourself.
They're like
Correct.
sniping.
Well, or you can have them out
on towers.
Yeah, you can have them out thinning the herd, which means if you look on the mini map, it's kind of hard to see right now, but you can see all these dots around my base. And the larger the threat level is, the more you'll see those dots because they start forming around my base. But if you have them thinning the herd, that reduces the amount that come when the hordes actually attack. And you can see right here, a strategy I found is I block this gate with a car because it makes it a little bit easier.
Nice.
It makes it harder for them to get in. But so there's a lot of different strategies you can do. So the siege is now starting. A lot of different strategies you can do. You can focus on trying to just stay in the middle and trying to watch every gate. What I end up doing is most of the time I go up to the very top level. There's kind of like Brad was saying from the previous game, a sniper position. I go up there and I kind of just watch around. I don't do a whole lot of shooting. I just kind of maintain. So I always bring a bunch of like Molotovs with me, just because if a horde does bust in the gate, chunk a Molotov at them to help deal with it. And when they do bust in the gate, which they will, the gate becomes broken, and you have to go over and repair it. Otherwise, they start flooding in.
Oh, man.
So it just becomes, this is kind of almost like a tower defense. So you can see my mines up and dealing with a lot of the enemies that are coming in. And I'll usually just kind of wait till
It's
one.
like Home Alone. You can set up all these traps.
No, it is. And you can even like go out there and physically set up traps if you want. Like I have mines and stuff that I can go out there and physically place on the ground.
Can you put up like some saran wrap with like some glue on it and then blow feathers on his face? Because that was effective.
No, you cannot.
That always bothered me.
About that movie? Dude, a lot of the stuff bothered me about that. Like
I don't think we were supposed to think.
You guys don't know how to have fun.
Yeah, but so these modes. Honestly, one of the most frustrating zombies, in this mode is the armored one, because he takes so little damage from bullets that like shooting him does nothing. So I have to wait for him to either throw a Molotov at him or go up and melee him. So there's 3 points where they will come in. Like the point I was just looking at, there's a point right on my right where there's another gate, and then that third gate. But thankfully that third gate, my car helps like kind of slow them down. And the soldiers that are there can help eliminate them. And another thing I noticed is NPCs like that you can control. You can give them weapons. You can kind of choose what they have, and they don't waste ammo. And so I have 2 grenade launchers, and so I just gave 2 of them to NPCs, and that helps. But the problem
they don't use any sort of ammo?
Yeah, they don't use up ammo. But the problem I noticed is you don't choose where the enemy stands during the siege. And so, or sorry, not the enemy, the NPC. And so sometimes they'll stand in different places. And like I'd always want the guy up top to have a zombie got stuck, and so I had to go and kind of trigger him to bring on the next wave of enemies.
Healthy amount of jank.
Oh yeah, I mean yeah, but I'm really enjoying it. So there is.
I have one last question for you about it. Does this mode, does it just kind of like so one of the big problems of like kind of hopping back into State of Decay, which I always kind of want to do, is that it's such a slow start. Does this?
This does not start slow. Okay. This starts out fast. Like, the first thing you do is you get dropped in, and it's you and 2 other guys, and there's zombies running at you.
Okay.
And you have to kill them. And then you get to the landing zone, and immediately a siege happens.
Like, so, they're probably going in, assuming that most people who've already played State of Decay...
Yeah, exactly.
Of course.
And so that's what I was saying, that I actually ended up restarting it because it was coming at me too hot and heavy and too fast.
Hot and heavy.
That I was like, you know what? I'm going to slow things down, restart, and build those outposts. Because like I said, I was trying to eliminate the infestations because those are one of the biggest frustrations. Because you'll go out on a mission and an infestation will slow you down. And so building those outposts, like kind of spread out throughout the map, really helps eliminate those. So when I do go out, I'm not slowed down by having to deal with the infestation that has screamers or it has like bloaters or whatever, like just messing up the place.
All right.
Speaking of bloat,
we do need to take a break.
Wait, we have not talked about The Witcher.
We're gonna do that in the next segment.
Okay,
we're gonna talk about The Evil Within and The Witcher in the next segment.
Wait, which one's Witcher?
Those are the ones I wanted to hear about most.
Well, we saved the best for
all
last.
These old games.
But if we saved the best for last, I told you it's gonna be an impressions heavy show.
Sure.
So let's go ahead and take a quick break, guys. When we come back, we'll talk about The Witcher 3 briefly, ever so briefly. Crispy.
I definitely want to hear about
briefly.
Why are you talking to me?
Because you're the one that's going to talk about it.
And we'll talk about the DLC that I played for The Evil Within called The Assignment.
I am nothing if not brief.
All right. I'll hold you to that. All right. We'll be back in just a second. Don't go anywhere.
That's what she said.
Then we're back, and before we get started, I actually meant to bring this up at the beginning of the show, but we so smoothly transitioned into talking about Halo that I just ran with it.
We're talking about Squishy Boob Quiet figurine.
What?
Yeah, right? They made a figure of Quiet from Metal Gear Solid 5, and her boobs are actually squishy.
Wait, what? This is like a real figure?
Yeah, like a collectible figure that's like this soft.
Officially
like her boobs are soft, and you can like.
Are those is that the only part of her that's soft?
The rest of it's plastic.
That is weird. Okay,
yes.
That is not what I was going to bring up at the beginning of the show.
Yes.
It's just so
Did
funny.
we not talk about that last week?
No. Somebody posted a picture of the doll, and then the quote from like Kojima's like, "You're gonna feel ashamed saying the things about her you do when you find out her backstory or some shit." It's like, yeah, she's got a squishy boob doll. But
Oh my god, that is not what I was going to bring up. I was actually going to bring up that over the weekend. Actually, I think it might have even been while I was locked out of that apartment.
Did we get a big
we actually crossed a new Patreon milestone.
Yeah. Wait, we did?
Yes. We have officially crossed over
capture card.
No.
Just
sorry, we're not quite at the capture card yet.
got my hopes
$50 more, and we can finally get Krispy a capture card, and he'll be doing a public Demon Souls Let's Play. It should be fun. Anyways, that is not the we crossed the $900 mark on our Patreon, which is so awesome. And we actually have some big plans prior to E3 as far as for Patreon goes. So keep your eyes on the site. I think we're going to be drafting up something and announcing that very soon. Should be fun. But we crossed the $900 mark, and we are going to be reopening and starting to sell merchandise again. We're going to start, obviously, with something small, probably a T-shirt. And maybe see what else we can scrounge together as far as maybe other cool T-shirt designs.
We should make figurines of us with like squishy like crotch or something like that.
Squishy crotch. I am not
squishy
entirely...
dick.
Squishy dick.
Kung Fu squishy dick action.
Oh my god. And
except mine, it's rock
I think we figured out our
very small.
I think we figured out our platform
Like
for the store, and I think we even have a something kind of the basic shirt we're gonna probably sell or pretty close to it. So we should be able to get that up fairly quick. Maybe even before E3 is what I'm hoping.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
So thank you for helping us get to that goal. And obviously, if we can keep climbing.
Oh, this next one is important.
The next one's very important. How did to broadcast The Witcher on his PS4?
Did it look bad last night?
I don't know. Did it?
His broadcast. How did his broadcast look last night? Because it will look infinitely better.
It's not like it's your fault. It's just the bit rate is low.
Yeah, it was terrible.
And so it's just kind of janky looking.
Yeah.
Because I was playing Mike, so I have The Witcher on PC, but my PC is definitely not the best. And I was like running it on kind of some of the lower settings. I'm like, let me compare it to Krispy's cast. But then you cast off your PS4, so the bitrate was low. So I'm like, I can't even tell.
That's all I got. That's all I can do, man.
Yeah.
So as soon as we cross that line,
That's all I got.
$950 is the mark to get Krispy's capture card. And to celebrate his new capture card, he is going to be putting together a Demon Souls Let's Play. And that Let's Play will actually be public. Yes. So most of our other Let's Plays are for patrons and subscribers on Twitch. We'll make that one public. So let's go ahead and let's try and push forward. We only have $50 more to go before we cross that mark. So it's not far off. And like I said, Patreon-related stuff, announcements coming before E3, which is coming up very soon, guys.
Yeah.
Very
Holy
soon.
shit,
Well, speaking of The Witcher.
Oh, well, look. I guess we're doing The Witcher.
Yeah.
Let's talk about The Evil Within. I'm just kidding. So next week, obviously, will probably be the more Witcher 3-centric show, because at that point, we will all have played quite a bit of it.
Yeah, I would hope so.
But
Witcher show?
Crispy spent like 8 hours
Dude,
with it so far?
I have played a pretty fair amount of Gwent by now.
So, okay. What is that?
Boner. It's the goddamn card game.
Guesstimate of how many games of Gwent do you think you've played?
Okay, so there's I went to a town that had a tavern keeper that had a rare card, and if you beat him, he gives you the card.
Yeah.
And I've lost to that guy like 9 times. It was so disheartening.
Is this
because
gonna be the
all of
next-
it, his deck was just so fucking good, and my deck is so shitty.
What was the
Triple Triad.
Triple
It's
Triad?
not-
Is this gonna be the next Triple Triad?
It's not like Triple Triad.
Okay, so let's just talk about Gwent.
Is it
It's
good?
just the collectible card game in Witcher. There's 4 different factions.
You're really gonna talk about Gwent while you're showing footage of him walking through
okay,
a forest?
Okay.
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
We
It's
don't want to
just-
talk too
I
much
just-
about the game this week.
It's
Talk
just
about
like
Gwent.
I want to hear about the game
Okay,
because
let's-
I was texting back and forth with Mike today, and he was like, Brad, Shadow of the Colossus is my number 2 now, I think.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Really?
dude, it's crazy. It's really
Holy
crazy.
shit.
There's so many different like quests and like little side quest things that I've done, and it's really hard not to sit there and think about like how would Dragon Age Inquisition have handled this? Because that was another really big RPG that came out this year. And it's just like, oh my god, I forgot that like you can have a quest that is ultimately just go here and burn these bodies, or go here and collect this and bring it back to me, and yet still make it kind of interesting, you know, not just like a fucking MMO collectathon where like there's literally just a stand that you go interact with. It gives you what you want. You go back and talk to somebody. Like there was a quest I was doing last night that was it was just a little side quest. It was this guy had posted a notice on his on the town board, and he was like, my brother took place in the battle over the hill, and I haven't heard from him in 3 days. I'm pretty sure he's dead, but I have to know. Like I need someone to come help me look through the battlefield for him, because there's a bunch of like corpses around that are just like eating dead bodies. And you go find the guy at his camp, and he takes you to the battlefield, and it's like just literally all you're doing is just going around to a couple different dead bodies and like interacting with them. Is this him? No. Is this him? No. But the way it was presented and the way the whole battlefield looked was just so fucking cool. Like it actually, like it had a bit of emotional depth to it. You're just like combing through this fucking horribly like scorched earth, all these mangled dead bodies everywhere. By the way, every single one of those bodies is lootable, and I did loot as many of them as I could.
Oh, that was my next question.
Yeah. And then it's like you're going through finding, and you finally find like the guy's shield, and but he's not there, and you use your Witcher sense and you find a trail, and you track this trail through the woods, and you eventually find a cabin, and you get to the cabin, and the brother, yeah, okay, never mind.
Yeah, let's say this is getting spoilery.
Let's not spoil
Yeah,
anything.
that's one
But
of the things.
you're
But
saying the side quests are
point
good.
My point is the side quests have like a depth to them. They have a complexity. They're enjoyable. They're not just I need 10 of these flowers. It's not just go collect this and come back. And even if it had been like in Inquisition, it would have been like go check these dead bodies and then run back to that NPC who hasn't moved an inch and tell him, oh yeah, I found him. Oh no, I didn't find him. And like the characters are all like real. Like they're all characters. Yeah. They have dialogue. That all the voice acting is really good. Like
it's kind of what like. Remember when we played Dragon Age 1 or Mass Effect 1?
Yeah.
And like you had side quests with like people. And by the time you get to Inquisition or Mass Effect 3, you walk up to a person, they're like, "Oh, thanks for completing that side quest." And I'm like, "Wait, a side
It's like
quest?
if you went back in time, to right after you played Dragon Age Origins and said, there's going to be a sequel to this game in about 7 years and it's going to be amazing. And you would think about like what that sequel must be like. It looks more like this than it does Inquisition.
How did we get here, guys?
I don't know.
Because Dragon Age lore, like Dragon Age is a world that I love.
Yeah, it's a really cool.
But I have no desire to play Inquisition at this point.
It's a really cool universe that they built, but like,
has that ship sailed for me? I own the game. I own the game. I've only ever played about 10 hours of it, and like, what reason do I ever have to go back? Especially after I play this.
Last week,
that's a good question.
Last week I probably would have told you like, oh no, you should still definitely go play before the end of the year. This week, like.
By the way, that game came out last year.
Okay, our like 10 through 50 in Dragon Age Inquisition are really good.
There's good story going on. You just don't ever. I just don't like. You don't ever do anything cool. In this game, like, even fighting just, like, rabid dogs, like, just fighting little enemies, like, it feels involved. It feels like I have to make quick decisions, and I'm, like, dodging and diving, and do I use a heavier attack or a light attack, and then I throw an ARD sign, and, you know, shit like that. Like, in
I'll be fine.
Inquisition, it just feels much more.
I think in Inquisition you should play the main campaign.
Rote.
Just avoid like doing like hundreds of hours of side quests.
When will I ever have time for that now at this point? We are balls deep in 2015, and I'm already drowning in games.
So I think what Chris Davis recorded this footage, and what he's doing is he's doing the first like hunt that you do to your first area, and you basically make a deal with the local garrison captain.
Spoilers.
It's not a spoiler.
That's not a spoiler.
He's gonna tell you something if you kill a griffin for him. So you go off and you kill a griffin.
Is he gonna tell you about Siri?
Yes. He's gonna tell you where he is. That's what the whole fucking game's about.
Also, by the way, everyone, the game's called Wild Hunt, and he is hunting monsters. But that's because of Witcher. That has nothing to do with the Wild Hunt.
I know what the Wild Hunt is.
Well, I mean, if you played a previous game, you know what the Wild Hunt is. They talk about the Wild Hunt.
I finally just got.
For those of us who actually completed the other games, I'm just kidding. That was a joke.
Okay, I did finish Witcher.
You did?
Yeah, he did earlier this year.
Oh.
These quest lines, like these contracts you take, you know, they're a completely separate type of mission in your mission log, and they're usually pretty involved. So like for this one, you had to do things like you had to go find a special herb that is a bait for griffins. You had to go talk to a couple different people to get information about the griffin. You had to go find its nest to figure out like why it abandoned its nest.
Isn't the griffin what they showed us at E3 a couple years ago?
Yeah. So what you're saying is it's not these side quests, these other things, or the main quest, I guess, are much more involved than they have been in other RPGs we played in the past. There's a lot of depth to them, and even I guess more in depth than the previous Witcher games.
This is the nest, and he like every time he goes and does one of these things, he has this whole like Batman investigation mode, like crime scene investigation.
Does it almost feel a little canned?
I mean, it does. It's definitely like kind of a scripted thing where it's like you have to hit like these certain items to progress the story, basically.
Wait, but I mean, could you just stumble into your mark or your target or whatever, or do you have to do?
I haven't done very many of them. This one. This one is scripted as hell.
Okay.
I did another one where there was a haunted well, and I had to go banish the ghost that was haunting the well. But to even fight the ghost, you had to like summon it, so there's more scripting. Hey, what's the next game you guys want to talk about?
No,
I don't
I-
want to hear about The Witcher. I mean, for fuck's sake, man.
No, what I'm saying is I don't do Haunted Wells.
Oh no, yeah, that was crazy too. Like that one was actually pretty fun. It, they do kind of block it off. So it's not like some of these monsters. It's not like they're just kind of like wandering the world, and then you can just stumble into it and like accidentally kill it, and then bypass the whole process of like the hunt quest.
Mm-hmm.
However, having said that, after I killed this griffin, I went to a new area and I was just wandering around, and then there was another griffin that was just kind of like hanging around a treasure chest, and it was like kill him and you get the treasure.
All right, a couple questions.
It is a bit more broad in scope than that. It's not like every single enemy that is your target doesn't actually like
Obviously,
exist
I think
in
the
the
hunts
world.
that are tied more closely to the main story quests are probably going to end up being more scripted than
Probably.
Yeah.
side quests.
Couple of preguntas.
This is the one that teaches you about
Okay, so it makes
hunting
sense that
quests.
it's scripted.
Yeah,
How's the combat?
it's a hell of a lot better than the other two.
That's for sure.
'Cause that- was the main
but
reason
I've
why I
actually
didn't-
read some stuff that's saying that it's not all that different than 2.
It's not really that different. It just
Just
feels a
tighter?
hell of a lot more responsive.
Yeah, it's
Like-
it's similar in 2 that you have your light attacks, you have your heavy attacks, you can dodge, you can roll, and then you can pull.
But
up
you
your,
feel like you have more control
you can
over
bring
all
up your
of it.
signs, but
Yeah.
it's just well done. It's just well implemented. It's tight. It's
2
responsive.
looked cool, but it didn't feel...
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
it looked cool. It felt really like, from what I remember, it's been a while since I played, and I never finished that game because of this kind of stuff. But it felt like kind of gummy. Like it was so, like you would hit an attack, and he had this whole animation that he had to do, and he still has like these very specific animations for very specific attacks here. But it feels more responsive. It's more of a.
Can you
More
use your
action-y.
potions in battle?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Like those, like right now he's got bread and water, but you can
Well,
you
because
can
in
brew
2
your
you
potions.
couldn't use your potions in battle.
Yeah, no, you can brew your potions and then like use them in battle. I think there are certain things that you have to prepare beforehand, but they make that flow between just like exploring the world and getting into battle a little bit more of an easy transition.
So,
you know?
okay, so Witcher 2, I remember there was a feature that was in the PC version that was not in the console version.
Meditation.
The meditation. And
Yeah.
they showed us that in the first time they ever showed us the game at E3 like 2 years ago.
They have meditation here.
And I was going to ask if it's in
all
the
it
console
is
version.
all it is you like I'm playing on PS4, so I hit the trackpad, it brings up my menu. I go over to meditation, I select what time of the clock I want to stop meditating, and it advances time.
But do you see the passage of time as you kneeling
No,
there?
it's like a clock, and you'll just see it go,
See, that's-
and then it comes
Yeah,
back.
more like Phantom Pain kind of like passage or something.
Well, that's what Witcher 2 on
in
the
2,
PC
yeah,
did.
it would do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
I
doesn't
don't.
really do
I don't
that.
know if it does it on the PC here because I have it on the PC, but I haven't meditated because I've barely gotten past the. Okay, it doesn't show the passage of time on PC. But I mean, so it depends on what difficulty mode you're playing on. But when you meditate on the lower difficulties, it will heal yourself.
It's the two lower ones will heal you, the two higher ones won't.
But I think it also meditating like refills your potions or something.
If you
or-
have a certain item, like there's a certain like alcohol that you have in your inventory that you can collect, if you have one of those when you meditate, it consumes one to refill the potions you brewed.
Nice, I like that mechanic.
I have one last
Something
question
like
for you,
that.
Crispy.
I think that's what it was.
Because we will talk about this extensively next week, obviously.
Let's just talk about nothing but The Witcher next week.
But I have one more question. You played for about 8 hours.
My Geralt looks different than that too.
You've leveled up a few times or whatever.
Yeah, I'm like level 4 right now.
Do you get any sense of like how the progression system is, skill trees, whatnot?
Yeah, it's kind of it's less of like a stat sheet thing and more of like I mean the only thing that's really coming to mind, like the most immediate thing would be like Diablo, where it's like you have ability slots that unlock as you get higher levels. It's like level 1 you get this slot, level 4 you get this slot, level 6 you get this slot, and it's arranged in a grid of 4 sets of 3, and then each one of those has a mutagen as well that you can put in. And mutagens are actually like things that you have to get in the world or make. And then you have like your actual tree. So you have your 4 or 5 different disciplines. So there's like combat, there's signs, there's potions and bombs, and then there's like general. And you go in and you spend your ability points to unlock those and level them up. Most of them can go to like 3 or 5 levels. And then you select one to put in a skill slot So yeah.
So the two questions that I would ask that would let me know that a skill system is like good is one, like the skills that you've gotten, I'm assuming, do they seem like significant? Like these are
all just like they're all boosts to what you already have, basically. So I mean, it'll be like,
is it growth that you think you notice or you think you will?
I'm level 4, dude.
Okay.
Yeah. So like the stuff I'm unlocking is like plus 1% vitality. You know?
Okay.
But I got
there's other stuff
that like greatly increases.
See, that's the weird thing about the Witcher games is that you always have all your signs. In Witcher 2, you had all your signs at the beginning.
You start with all your signs here, too.
But like they're always all the same signs too, because I mean, it's the lore.
Signs,
it's the lore of they want to stick to that. So it's not like you're ever going to get any surprising abilities. And I always feel like that's kind of the lore holding the game back of the series for being a little fun.
That's a good point.
I mean, like I said, there's a whole signs tree that like modifies and upgrades each individual sign, so it kind of changes them as it goes on.
The second question would be: are you seeing a lot of things that you want? Like when you go to spend a point, is it a tough decision? I mean,
it kind of is. It's not. Yeah, it's not like.
I think we'll have all the answers.
No.
Yeah, I think we're getting into stuff we need to...
Let's be honest, guys. This was Memorial Day weekend. It's a 3-day weekend.
Because I don't quite understand how it changes them that much yet. Because, for instance, like there's Igni, like the fire sign, right? As it is right now, which in the beginning of the game, it's a burst. It's just like a wave, right? I'm not sure, but I think from what I understand, you can upgrade that later to where it's like a concentrated like stream of like sparks that you can shoot at like one enemy or
like
something.
A flamethrower.
Yeah, and then that's something you can equip on. But I'm nowhere near any of that stuff, so I don't even know.
I know you understand that. Do you understand Gwent?
Dude, Gwent is cool. I need to get some fucking cards, man, because mine suck, and I can't beat
I want to
anybody.
talk about Gwent. We haven't even talked about it.
I mean, okay, like, do you want me to just lay out the basic rules?
Yeah.
Is it a real CCG?
It is. It's pretty basic, but I feel like it's deceptively simple because I wasn't really into it. I was like, this is kind of just like a little mini game thing, and then I started playing higher level Gwent players in the game who had like good cards, and I saw like the strategies and combos they were using. I was like, oh fuck, like these guys are actually kind of fucking good, and there's some really interesting things you can do with the right combinations of cards. But basically the way it works is each player's side of the board is split into 3 rows. There's close range, long range, and siege. Okay. And every card like creature type or like character is one of those 3 types. So when you play a card, it goes into its corresponding row, and each card has its own strength. So like a number that's how much damage this does. All the cards that you have on the field, like all the characters that you have on the field, add to your like victory point pool, basically. And the whole point of the game is just end the round with more victory points than your opponent. Yep. But then they have other things like weather. So there's 3 different weather cards. There's torrential rain, there's unpenetrable fog, and there's like biting cold or something like that. Each one of those affects a different row, like a different type of enemies, but it affects both sides of the board. So if you've got like, if your enemy's throwing a bunch of close range units at you and you've only got a couple, you can throw that on the field, like the biting cold on the field, to reduce
it's like -1 to each of his enemies.
No, it reduces all types to 1.
Oh, all types to 1.
Yeah, and then there's another card that's like Pleasant Day or something that removes all weather effects. Okay. And there's a couple like special cards. I haven't seen very many of them yet. But most of it is based around the characters.
But the thing, because I've only played like 2 games of it, but from how it works is you have up to 3 rounds, and all the cards you draw, that's all you get for this entire game.
You start the game with 10 cards, and you have to win
2 rounds
with that hand.
So if you lay out all 10 cards, you win, but the next round you're going to lose because they're going to have more cards.
And there are cards too, like some of the character cards have like abilities. So there's one called like Spy, which when you play it, it goes on your opponent's side, and it adds to his total, but it lets you draw 2 cards. So I've gone up against opponents who will do that. They'll just start throwing characters on my field and just get my number really high, get all of their cards, and then pass. So once you pass, you can't play anything else for the rest of that turn, and your opponent gets to play whatever the fuck he wants. And then whenever he decides to pass, they add up the total, and whoever wins, wins. So they basically throw the first round just to get a huge fucking hand and make me waste cards in that first round. So I'm going into round 2 with like 8 cards, and he's got like 14. And no matter what I do, he can just be like, okay, I'm going to throw this guy here, and I'm going to throw this guy here, and this guy here, and then just fuck you over. It's crazy. And then you get into ones where like they have cards that activate abilities when they're played, and then you can play another card to return it to your hand, and then play it again on your next turn, and it just gets fucked.
Let's try and make a pact here, guys, that we're not going to spend all of our time playing this card game
No,
before next week.
I've been playing a shit ton of it. It's crazy.
Oh man,
like it's kind of good. It's not like super deep. It's kind of like in that Hearthstone area of like interesting mechanics meets like quick and easy playability.
Yeah, the card's cool. Look like they'd be fun to collect.
Yeah, the cards are all like.
Because that was my favorite thing about Trip Triad was trying to get all like collect all the cool cards.
The cards are all like actual characters in the Witcher universe too, and there's one for
and monsters, I assume.
Okay, so there's 4 different factions. 3 of them are kingdoms. So there's like the Northern Realms. There's Nilfgaard. There's the Scoia'tael, which is all your like elves and dwarves, and then there's a monsters faction. That's all monsters.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, we will revisit The Witcher next week. Obviously, it's a 3-day weekend. I'm going to be spending almost all of that weekend. I'm going to be finishing up Bloodborne.
So it's funny because Bernadette was like, we got to go to Houston this weekend because my cousins are in town. And then she texted me today and she's like, actually, it's going to be like a girls' thing, so you probably shouldn't come. I was like, oh man, I can't go to Houston. That sucks.
Oh my god.
Fucking Witcher weekend.
You two are the worst. Last week was his mom, this week it's your girlfriend. All right.
But she also dodged a bullet in that it was Houston.
That's true. All right. Last game I want to talk about this week is a game. I went and revisited The Evil Within, which was in my top 10 games of last year. Obviously, they've been releasing some of this DLC, and they're on their second one. I think there's a third one coming out next week.
Yep.
I think where you play a safe head.
You play a safe head, which is weird.
That's very interesting.
So I don't know if that's actually tied to the same story that you're playing in the one that I. So I played The Assignment.
So that was my question. Is this break off from the main game?
This is like side by side.
What
with
she's
doing.
Okay.
So it's what she's doing while you're doing your thing.
Yes, and it kind of explains like there was some things kind of going on during that main story in The Evil Within where you were kind of like, what is Julie doing? Like what is her motivation? What's happening? And you get a really good look at.
That's cool.
Her motivations, what's driving her, and what's happening to her. And every once in a while, you kind of come really close to running up against Sebastian and seeing, how things ended up for him.
Yeah.
So it's running parallel to each other. But the big difference here is, so you're playing as Julie Kidman, which is his partner. They get separated at the beginning of the original game. But the difference is, this game is almost entirely stealth-based. There is no combat to speak of. There is one sequence where you pick up a gun and it's like a turret sequence because you're trapped under something and you're shooting dudes. But after that, there's really no combat.
That's weird. Is it fun?
Yes. In fact, I would say it's some of my favorite moments in all of The Evil Within have come from this DLC.
Really?
So far, I mean,
but I like the combat.
No, the combat in Evil Within is great, but at the same time, doing it this way allows to kind of be more of the Evil Within, but at the same time make it feel distinctly different because it definitely feels different. You don't have a weapon. It feels more tense because of that, so you're trying to avoid enemies.
Wait, so you never have a weapon?
You never have a weapon in this game.
You can't hit
all you have is
the
your flashlight.
Your flashlight?
Your flashlight, which shines light. And you're kind of being, for at least a portion of this DLC, you're being hunted by this thing, which you'll actually see here in a minute. And it's like this, it kind of reminds me of those enemies in Bioshock that have the lights, in Bioshock Infinite that have the lights in their face. But
because he has a light in his face.
But all you can really do
is that person's face blurry?
Yes, all their faces are blurred.
Is it the Flash?
It has to do with. Oh my god! It has to do with their. So what I've always liked about The Evil Within is that like I feel like this game, like the reason I like this game so much is that it can totally get away with all of like the bullshit that Resident Evil can't.
Yeah.
Because it really is a game about like everything is in your head. It's just crazy shit. Like nothing really makes sense. Areas are connected in ways that they couldn't really be in real life. Like it's totally psychological, and that's really cool. So all the NPCs.
Wait, should that have scared me or turned me on?
That's
well, so like that's the creature I was talking about. She has a light in her face, but she has like really
stockings
nice
and like
legs
heels,
and
yeah.
like red high heels.
Is she the lamp from Christmas Story? Like,
Nick's a leg man.
No, I'm not. You know, no.
Anyway.
Well,
The top of the legs.
Are you
kinda.
saying? Are you confirming that all of this is just the characters being crazy?
What? Oh, I mean, well,
I mean, that's what the evil within.
I mean, the evil
Is that what
within
the
is-
story was about?
Well,
yeah.
from the very beginning, like it's all.
I thought that was supposed to be like.
No.
No, I mean, like it's
Like maybe weird things were happening. Maybe reality did break.
Well, I mean, I didn't. I didn't. Okay,
Okay.
just play it if
Okay.
you're curious. I mean,
Yeah.
it is definitely supposed to be psychological, and it's not. I mean, something is definitely wrong with
the
reality.
answer
in
is
this
we
game.
have no idea.
But you play this game entirely stealthily. So like I'm doing now, you're doing a lot of sneaking. There's like actually a cover-based system. You're picking up items and throwing them to create distractions. You can press a button to like call out and get their attention. You can also do things like lure them into rooms and then get out of the room and lock them in the room behind
That's
you.
cool.
Nice.
Which is really cool. Actually, there's one. I think it's in this footage.
This is why I've been a little hesitant, though. It's like, I'm a man that likes setting some dudes on fire. You're a man that likes
I like it
Alien
both.
Isolation.
Dude,
I'm saying I hear what Alien Isolation's like, and I don't want to play it.
dude, Alien Isolation is so fucking good.
I know.
So
I
fucking
understand
good.
that some people like that sort of thing, but
Dude,
Wait,
I'm telling you. So,
I don't like sneaking around
well, then you're not gonna like this.
unless.
But-
Damn.
I feel like it's different. This DLC could have easily been just a complete rehash of what the Evil Within was, but with a different character. But instead, they chose to go with something totally different.
3, 9,
It still
4,
has that
6.
total like,
Come on,
I have
guys.
no idea what's
3,
going to
9,
happen
4,
when I
6.
walk through this door feeling, because there is a lot of that crazy shit. Your flashlight also gives you the ability to create. Wait, what did you say?
I'm talking
I'm
about the
trying to
combo.
guess the combo.
Oh well, the combo.
The blood.
The
I actually- I
lighter
got it
the
right.
blood got, the farther it was. in
Yeah,
the combo,
exactly.
yeah.
And I actually got it right when I played it on the feed. I got that combination right my first try, and I fucked it up twice recording this footage. But
What were you saying about?
but like your flashlight gives you the ability to. There's these symbols on the walls, and if you shine your light on the symbols, it creates a doorway. Like it just kind of appears out of thin air, which is weird. But it's cool.
Like,
and it
like
kinda,
a secret or like a.
Wait, like
you
in,
can find secrets.
like in Luigi's Mansion. Use that dark
yeah.
light bulb.
Yeah,
to, like...
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, so this game kind of like it puts you in similar situations, and it reintroduces you to similar enemies that were in the Evil Within. Actually, a lot of them are actually the same enemies from the Evil Within, with the exception of the light face lady. But you have to kind of approach the situations entirely different, because obviously it's mostly stealth based. But the coolest moments in this DLC have always been like, you do something. And I'm gonna try and tiptoe around this, because I don't like, one of the coolest moments is a total spoiler, but like you do something and then something happens, and then all of a sudden you realize where you are and in relation to where Sebastian is in the
Something
story.
happens. Spoiler.
Oh my god! But you end up in a situation where you're like, holy shit, that's where I am. That's how I ended up here.
Like, do you ever do something to where you find out you like affected Sebastian?
Yes. And there's actually there's a couple like boss encounters that are pretty cool, pretty interesting, and maybe, in fact, maybe some of the best in the game. Obviously, you're approaching them differently. You can occasionally pick up like axes and do like stealth kills, but they're one use, which that doesn't make a
I
whole
never
lot of
really
sense.
understood that
Yeah.
in this game.
Yeah, you hit them in the head with an axe, and then you're like, well, I guess I can't use that anymore, which makes no sense. But that's just how it
I would
works.
understand if
don't
maybe
know.
like the handle
Suction.
broke or something.
Suction. Because the moisture in the brain area kind of creates a suction around the wound, and it's just really hard to get the axe head
Yeah,
out.
that's exactly how it works.
You're saying she's weak because she's a woman?
Oh,
No, I'm saying
no.
she's weak because suction is nature abhors a vacuum. Physics.
Oh my god.
Way to go, Brad! Right in the,
Right in the
right
microphone.
in the microphone.
I don't know. So I feel like I'm gonna have a hard time convincing Brad here to play this, but
Well, I hear the second episode's good. It has more action in it for sure.
Don't get me wrong. There are some intense fucking moments in this game, but they're intense in a different way. They're not like, can I fend off this many dudes with a shotgun, or light these guys on fire, or make it through here with only 2 shots or whatever. Like it's very different. It's very much, can I avoid the enemies? Can I hide from them, get away, and let them lose interest in me before I can make a run for it. This is actually,
is the zombie morph ever in the vent? I mean,
no. Okay, so this is kind of an example of what I was talking about. So I walk into this room, right, and there's a phone on the desk, and you can pick up the phone, you call the other room, and the phone rings in there. And then you'll see a dude run in the door, and then you can run around before he runs out and use your key card to lock him in the room. And then he's no longer an issue. But he'll sit there and bang on the door and try and get out. Otherwise, you have to completely, you have to actually end up trying to avoid that enemy through that area, which is kind of a pain in the ass.
Who did he think was calling? Like, who's the murderous psychopath? Like,
he's
waiting
just
for a call.
He was just reacting to noise. That's all they react to.
Maybe like his test results, like seeing what they came back positive.
It's like, oh my god, did my order come in?
Did I get tetanus from this giant?
Oh, it's the pizza guy. I forgot to give him the gate code.
Oh my god. But I don't know. I didn't realize you were so opposed to the whole stealth aspect of it.
Well,
Brad,
I just remember that first chapter from The Evil Within where you're sneaking around, and I really
you're
didn't
being
like
stealthy,
that.
and
I didn't like that at all. I think that was maybe the worst part of the game.
Then maybe avoid this like the plague, because that's this whole game.
But if it's well done, I mean, it does seem like it's a lot more fleshed out.
It is well done, and there's some really cool moments. And like I said, there are some moments in this DLC where I was like, holy shit, like mind fuck moments where you're just like, that's how this led up, or that's how she had an effect on this pivotal moment in the game, the proper game. And all that stuff is really cool. I was actually like, this game is kind of batshit insane, like the story is, but like I actually found myself really enjoying it because of that, as opposed to like the same reasons I'm really disliking what Resident Evil has become.
So you're going to be playing...
I'll be playing the next part on Friday, which is The Consequence.
Oh, well, that's news to me.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of news...
I guess we're going to go ahead and transition to news.
The worst, Brad.
There's not really a whole lot of news this week, so we can keep this rather brief, I suppose. Brad...
I'll start with my brief one.
Yeah, kick it off. Let's go.
Well, I... have a news topic.
Just say it, Brad.
God,
oh my God.
Do you not remember what it is, Brad?
I do remember.
Divinity.
Oh, yeah.
Son of a bitch.
He's waiting for his
Divinity
fucking
Original
phone.
Sin Enhanced Edition is coming to PS4 and Xbox One. And if you have the PC version, it's a free update. But from the sounds of it, it's pretty significant. Like, I think I read somewhere that they're adding voice acting to the game.
What?
Entirely.
That's crazy.
Like every single character.
There's a lot of text in that game.
Yeah, I was about to say that. From what I've seen you play, there's a lot.
Maybe it's just like the main characters and the player character. I mean, the companions and stuff. Surely it can't be everyone. But surely. But yeah, so this is gonna be an old school CRPG.
Maybe I'll play it.
But you're gonna be able to play with the controller. And the thing is, it's a turn-based game like XCOM. So that could work because it's not like super. It's not like a game like Pillars of Eternity. There's no way you can play that with the controller. There's no fucking way. But this game, like, absolutely. So I'm just glad that, and there's like gonna be a lot of visual enhancements and stuff. Like, it sounds like a pretty legit version of this game. I'm just glad that more people are going to be able to play this sort of thing.
I have a feeling that if I was like an indie dev and I needed like a lot of voice actors, I would just go around with like a mobile sound booth, just like a booth on wheels, like battery powered, and be like, "Excuse me, ma'am, do you want to make $5? Go in here, read this," and just give her $5 and just like, go around doing that.
You can't do that. You get shut down.
I know.
The union, they'll kill you.
Dude, I feel like if I was making an indie game, it'd be so easy. Just be like, my friends would be. I'd be like, "Hey guys, you want to record? You want to be a voice actor for a day?" They'd be like, "Yeah, that'd be awesome." I feel like it'd be pretty easy.
Here, fill out this union paperwork to apply for membership.
Nah,
we'll find out
nobody
in 60
needs
days.
that. Nobody needs that shit. It just complicates things.
I'm excited. I hope more people play it because it was my number one video game of last year. It's really good.
You know what my number one video game of last year was?
I will say that. It was Alien Isolation. I will say I was a little bummed because they kept teasing that Larian was going to announce like a new thing,
And this was it?
I was kind of excited that they were going to announce like a new RPG series or something.
Too soon, though.
Like Divinity. Well, I mean, not to make an announcement. Oh, that is true. That is also in the news.
What, Hellblade?
Yeah, it's finally getting a gameplay reveal trailer very soon.
Whatever.
But
it's like that Doom gameplay reveal trailer.
Nobody cares about that.
I also found out today
Pre-order to unlock the rest of the trailer.
I hope I see that game at E3 and I just go to Chris Davis and I'm like, I can't believe you didn't tell me how mind-blowing this game was, Chris. It looks so good.
How come you didn't say anything?
Exactly.
You know what I really
Trying to keep
hoping-
it for yourself.
I was just hoping it was not there. And that
They don't show it.
This would continue his torture, Chris Davis'
Much
torture.
longer. All right, let's move on. My news topic, real quick, is just.
I hope I wrote this overlay right.
More fun for from Nintendo. Yeah, they're doing great things lately. Nope, that's the opposite.
What?
Well,
I found an article that says that.
in X, yeah, but the new 3DS is not going to be region free.
Don't look at that. Don't look at that.
I wrote it wrong.
Well, the article you read is saying that the engine in X.
They're not going to go back and unlock current systems, but I thought they were saying the future. Never mind. I don't know. The NX is whatever that fucking thing is.
Oh,
is
see,
going to be
you
region
fell
free.
for the double speak.
Yeah, but no, they were talking about the new 3DS is not going to be region free
Well,
because they were
fuck
saying
me.
because it would be too difficult to unlock the previous versions of the 3DS to make them region free, and so the new one's not going to be either. And I just think that's so silly that they do that.
Yeah,
It's really kind of lame.
It is.
I would have never been able to play Owendon if it wasn't for region free.
Window's so good.
DS.
I gave that back to you, right?
Yeah.
That was my
I have a news topic.
Yep. What's that?
This is weird. This really is strange, but they're going to be updating that Final Fantasy 15 demo next month.
I thought that was weird.
It's going to be
care more about
Final
it if
Fantasy
I could play
15 2.0, version 2.0. So I'm not sure if they're updating the existing demo or if they're just making version 2.0 public. I don't know what that. I don't know.
That'd be
how that's
lovely
gonna
if
work.
they made it public, because I would love to
Episode
fucking
just-
play it.
No, they're probably updating the one because you had to get the code from Type 0 to play.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I would imagine it's going to be an update to the existing.
Correct. That's what I would
One.
assume.
Which is cool. I mean, it's kind of nice to we're getting to see them kind of in real time reacting to feedback.
Mm-hmm.
Usually you have to wait months between things like that. Like you have to play it at PAX or play it at E3 and then wait for the next one and then just see how it's changed from one year to the next. But
I wouldn't mind seeing more developers update demos.
Yeah.
I think that's a really interesting concept, especially with how technology is nowadays. The internet makes things so much easier. But yeah, why not just you get an early demo?
It is damage control too, because obviously Final Fantasy is a huge lucrative series, and the reaction to that demo was mixed at best. A lot of people I think it had some serious balancing issues. For one, and it seems like they're gonna be going in and making it I'm really curious to go back and play it again and just see what's changed, see if maybe it's easier. Because Jesus Christ, you couldn't survive a night in that game.
Yeah,
it's fucking ridiculous. So I don't know. I think this is more news. I think because I've never seen them do that before. I've never seen anybody do that
I don't think
before.
it's ever happened before.
It's unprecedented,
What?
as they say. Updating a demo?
Are you kidding?
No.
I mean, aren't betas basically demos, and they
Well,
update those?
that's
all
not
This
what
isn't
we're
a
talking
beta.
about.
This is
This-
literally a very
Yeah.
small vertical slice
the. Yeah.
of a game.
Okay, fair enough.
Guys, oh my god, I completely forgot about. Oh, never mind. I just forgot about a game that came out that I really want to play that no one's played or
What?
talked about yet. Invisible Ink.
Oh yeah, no, I want to play it too.
I wish I had time.
I
Why
wish
do all
I
the
had
games have to
the-
come out at the same time?
I wish I
Why-
had the time and the money, but
Dude,
no.
The Witcher is going to fucking make it 10 times
Dude,
worse.
if Invisible Ink was a mini game in Witcher 3, I'd be playing the shit out of it.
That's
I'm sure you would.
I just want you to think about that next time you're playing your dumb little card game. You could be playing Invisible Ink.
That's true.
all right. So, is that it for news?
Think so?
Sure.
All right. Nolan?
Community!
Community! Let's do
Starts
this.
right now. All right, so Patreon, that's a thing.
That is a thing.
We're at the 900 level. Woohoo! We love our patrons, and so we have a new patron this week to thank.
We do.
Brandon W.
Brandon W.
Yep.
Thank you, Brandon
Thank
W.
you for
New
being a
patron smell.
Yeah. We have a few questions this week. I'm gonna try and go through them as
Sorry, I
quickly as
posted it
possible.
late. I was really.
Don't worry, we got plenty of questions for Brad. So our first question is from Landon M. He says, "Hey 4PP, username is Ava Unit Rico."
Hey,
That's actually
chat.
pronounced Piocht.
Yeah, no. But I'm a lurker, so you probably won't see me very often. This question is for Brad.
Go ahead and
Go
to sleep.
fuck yourself.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go ahead and go to sleep then.
Brad, I noticed you retweeted someone called Gorilla Dog who said Ni no Kuni was one of the biggest JRPG disappointments of last gen. I was wondering if you agreed with this since you retweeted it, and if you do,
of course
agree,
I
why.
did, because I had no idea who that was, but somebody else. I saw it on somebody else's
Why don't you
Twitter
care
feed.
about my opinion about Ni no Kuni?
Nina King.
I love Ni no Kuni.
Well, I mean, I think it's fine.
Nobody ever asked me.
You
Just
liked
answer
the
the
game.
question.
I'm just saying that he felt the way I kind of felt about this game.
That you were disappointed by it.
Yeah.
I was disappointed by it too.
Oh, I thought you liked it. Or
There's a difference in between enjoying a game and being disappointed by it.
you liked some fucking mini game in it or something. What was that shit you would? Whatever.
card
I don't
game or
want
whatever?
to get into that.
Whoa! There was a card
there's
game.
a card game in Nina Kuni.
Oh,
Yes.
Christ.
Is it good?
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
All I'm saying is that was hyped to high heaven, and I was excited. You know, I'm a level 5 guy ever since Dark Cloud, but it
I
was
thought there was a lot of
super
potential.
disappointing
Yeah,
to me.
no, I agree. I thought the game had a lot of potential that fell through. I thought it could have done a lot of things much
What
better.
were y'all expecting? Because that game turned out exactly what I was expecting it to be.
But I mean, the combat system was a fucking mess. Man.
Yeah,
It was just a
it
mess.
was a little silly.
And like there's you know, it looked visually nice, but
It's one of those things where it's frustrating when you can't control everyone. You know, like they give you the illusion that you have control, but you really don't. It's one of those situations as well. Similar to like Final Fantasy 13, where you can kind of tell your other party members what to do, but not real. They're gonna do what the fuck they want, kind of thing.
but it was way worse in this game.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was worse than this because the options were very basic. You could have them be offensive or defensive and
Yeah.
kind of stuff like that. You could like tell the girl, "Oh, I want you to heal," but that's all she would do then is just heal, and then use up all her mana, and then she would stand there and do nothing because she's out of mana.
This is
to
another
heal.
example of. Let's be honest here. This is you being disappointed because it's not like the Gambit system in Final Fantasy 12. Because no game has really
Well,
been like that. Like a lot of games have
Well,
tried.
Dragon Age, but
Oh, okay, maybe
Origins.
Dragon Age.
All
is
right,
a
moving
better
on.
example.
Moving on.
it,
That's
it
enough.
just kind of bored me.
Brad was disappointed. Next question's from Sunny H. Hey guys, have you ever thought about starting your own YouTube network?
I don't know what that is.
I don't know either.
Oh well, I mean, YouTube network. We're a part of a network.
Oh, we're part of a network.
Yeah, you have other channels that are part of your network,
Yeah.
and you organize
Like events and stuff
events
like that.
and stuff as
yeah.
a network instead of as an individual channel. I mean, I mean, the answer is yes because I'm thinking about it right now.
Yes, we have.
Oh,
The
I have
answer is
thought about
now
that before.
yes.
Yeah, I've thought about it.
I don't even, honestly, I don't even know what would be involved.
They say, I just thought to ask since the podcast, the website name is 4Player Network, and you did guys make 4Player YouTube network, that would be totally cool.
You know,
A lot of
honestly, if
work.
we ever
put it this way, we're a 4-player network because it's like just think of all the different broadcasters on our channel, on our stream as like different channels as a part of the 4-player network.
Different
also,
shows.
if we were
Different
to-
shows. So like you go to another stream, it's just the one person. But here we're a network of people playing different games with different personalities
From all over the planet.
in different ways.
I will say this too. Like, you know, we've thought about ways of potentially
No, we have,
harnessing
yeah.
that too. And if we were to ever leverage the network name in any new ways, I think it'd probably be more likely to be organized more closely to our Twitch channel or even our podcast network.
We also used to have multiple podcasts.
Yeah, we did.
We don't have multiple podcasts
Well,
anymore.
we have dinner time.
Blame Chris
and we
Dave.
have
we have
stuff.
dinner time
But-
podcast for patrons,
But we could.
but we could, and we also could have a popcorn.
Dude,
cast.
I would love to have more time.
We could have a popcorn cast
Yeah,
soon,
we could.
guys. Soon.
Next question from Sunny H. Now that my normal Christian question is out of the way, how hard are your nipples right now?
Wait,
You can
what?
only rate it out of a 10 ape tits.
0.
0, yeah. Not much going on.
Well, I mean,
Zero.
Not even a
does
slight
the
breeze.
baseline firmness of human flesh count? Because I'm not like torqued or anything. So I guess
My
one.
nipples get hard when I sneeze. Is that weird?
I don't know. I never like sneeze and then what's going on?
Next time you sneeze, think about it.
All right, I will.
And check it out. Mine always get hard when I sneeze.
That's hot. Is it because like your shirt flies up and a stiff breeze flies in there? Like what's going on?
I don't know. Someone Google that. Is that a thing?
All right.
I also sneeze when I look into like in the sunlight.
Well, yeah. No, that's science.
No, not everybody does that.
Well, 30% of the population.
But there still is a scientific reason for why that happens.
Well, I'm sure there's a scientific population for why nipples get hard.
That's true.
Does anyone else in chat have that phenomenon? Anyone?
Hard nipples? I'm sure most people do.
No, they get hard when you sneeze.
My nipples get hard when I rub them.
Okay. I'm sure they do.
My nipples get hard when I sneeze in the presence of Biohunter's mom. I'm sorry, it was just I had to pick a random chatter. I apologize.
Oh my
All right.
God.
My nipples, they hurt when you pinch them. Moving on. Next question is from Neil S. Hey, chaps, this one's for all of you. Yeah. All of you, meaning Brad.
This is a good week. We finally had some other people who haven't asked us questions before ask us questions.
Yeah.
This is two.
I recently played Axiom Verge, and I've had a total blast with it throughout. However, despite the story mechanics and presentation, the entire experience has been marred by what I feel to be some utterly awful area/boss designs in the later stages. For the first time in my entire gaming career, I threw my 360 controller across the room in anger and frustration, followed by a litany of colorful curses and insults. Have you guys had an otherwise gleam game ruined by drastic increase in difficulty or design flaws? Also, a personal thanks to Brad for pointing me in the right direction for the Witcher books. I've thoroughly enjoyed them, and he tipped me over the edge to become a patron.
Awesome.
He's given other people Witcher books, but not me.
Yeah. I don't have the physical books. You want to
Dude,
borrow my Kindle?
You said you were going to give me the fucking file for...
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
can we answer the question?
Anyway,
first?
the question.
Essentially a game making you so frustrated
good
you
games
throw a controller. Or...
that spike in difficulty and make you hate playing the game. You know, it's funny you bring that up, because there was one we were talking about earlier that definitely fell into that category for me.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was called.
Earlier today?
I think he's talking about Castlevania.
He's talking about
Castlevania.
Oh, I see.
Symphony of the Night.
Gotcha.
If I could play that game alone, not on the feed, and just like parse it out on my own, like I'd probably have a great time. But like, oh my god, like, the game doesn't tell you anything, and there's so much going on. And,
I meant to mention
so
that.
unforgiving.
I meant to mention that when I was comparing it to like the Souls game, because you got to the part where like, wait. How do I get through this door? You have to like buy some item called Jewel of the Open to like open maybe a door that you may have not even found before to get to an area that maybe you probably shouldn't even be in yet. It's very Dark Souls.
Yeah.
So like no, that's what I was going to bring up is the Souls games. At certain points, you know,
But
certain
how many of those
bosses
are...
can get so frustrating. It's not that I quit.
But
It's
they're
just
not
like,
poorly designed.
Oh, correct. It's a difficulty issue.
I would say if anything is poorly designed, and I'm only speaking about Bloodborne because I haven't really played far enough in a Souls game yet to be the judge, but you know, having played Bloodborne for quite a while now, like the frustration I've had with any bosses has mostly stemmed from the camera.
Well, no. So what my biggest frustration has been this the Lord Dog of whatever fucking bullshit banana shit that shit's from the dungeon of
Dark Souls?
Defiled dungeon. No, Bloodborne.
Oh.
In the Defiled dungeon, there's a Lord Beast of the dark shit fucker something. I don't remember his name.
Dark Beast.
Ed said he was fuming.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
Fuming.
Definitely.
What do you think you're going to get when you play something called the Defiled Dungeon, which is an optional dungeon?
So you have half health, which is frustrating, and this boss does massive damage, but he has one move that's an instant kill. The bullshit about this move is what he does is he kind of like he's on fire. So he kind of shakes and the flames come out and then he charges in a direction. And if that charge hits you, instant death. But the thing is, if you're standing to the side of him and it just grazes you, instant death. If he charges and you time it just right so you roll away and you can get up and start slashing him while he's recovering from that move, if you touch him while he's recovering from that move, instant death. Like he's not even moving anymore, but if you touch him, instant death. And like it got to the point where I thought I was gonna like break my controller in half because this is you just have you like squeeze your controller so fucking hard, and then it starts to like creak and like you can hear it, like kind of feel it, and
You're gonna have to crush your controller.
I know, so I have to stop myself because I do feel I might damage the controller, and I don't want to do that because those controllers aren't cheap.
Hey, a game that comes to mind for me that had, I feel weird saying it. So No More Heroes had some insanely frustrating bosses.
The boss fights? Yeah.
Yes, but at the same time, the question was, have you ever had a boss fight that mars an otherwise really great experience? And I think everything outside of the boss fights in No More Heroes is not really the highlight of that game. You're really just kind of going from one boss to the next.
Didn't Thief end on just like a really fucking terrible boss fight?
Oh yeah, I rage quit.
Did I play that game for like,
I rage quit
2 hours
because
and
of a boss?
I just remember him talking about it.
Yeah, it was.
okay.
It was for a game that really doesn't encourage combat at all to throw you into a combat scenario at the very end.
Like and
The final
Deus
boss
Ex
of
does that
Octodad.
too.
Wait, what'd you say?
Deus Ex does that too, or Human Revolution.
Yeah, Deus Ex is a
Does
good
that
example
too.
because those boss fights were
Well,
not very
they're
good.
completely
But
different from the rest of the
otherwise,
game, but yeah.
I mean, Deus
Yeah.
Ex Human Revolution. Other than those boss fights, though, that game was fucking excellent.
I agree. Next, final question for the evening from Elena R. This is for everyone, but mostly
By the
for
way, Chris
Brad,
Davis, I wasn't talking about the final
'cause he has
boss.
a tiny penis. In your opinion, what's the biggest mistake any game company or developer has ever made, and why does that make you mad?
AKA the Konami segment.
Yeah, let's go ahead and just. Can I just say, Konami just can suck my dick for canceling Silent Hills? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That came from a bad place.
Benching Koji Igarashi and giving Castlevania to Mercury Steam, the guys that made Jericho.
High five, Brad.
God, that was horrible.
That was a terrible high five.
Elbows.
Hit your
Top Gun
mic.
high five.
You guys are the worst.
What the fuck was that?
Moving on. So I like
I had
not-
to instantly try and remember Top Gun. It's been so long.
Not specific scenarios, but one of my frustrating things is when a game, especially in a series, when developers try to do something and it fails, but there was potential there, just like removing it and not even trying to make it better.
Capcom? How about Capcom? Apparently,
Mass Effect was one of the, or Dragon Age. Like systems that are slightly flawed, and instead of improving it, you just drop it.
How about Capcom never going back to Dino Crisis or Onimusha for no fucking reason? Because everyone fucking wants sequels to those games. Everybody.
Or Shadow of Rome.
Or Shadow of Rome. But everybody wants a sequel to Onimusha. Everybody wants a sequel to Dino Crisis on current platforms. Like, everybody wants that.
Yep.
We will hand you money in droves if you just give us that game. They refuse.
That's true.
Just saying. Fuck.
Anything else?
Fuck Capcom. Fuck Konami. I'm
Cool.
sure I could think of others.
All right, well, that were our questions for this week. Moving on, subscriber of the month, because it's May still, is True Facts, and his game is Diddy Kong Racing. Has anyone else here played that?
I want to find a way to boot
I've
that up.
played
What
it
is the
quite
best
a
way to
bit.
play that?
Probably with an emulator.
Ah, fuck. I would love to
Yeah,
play some Diddy Kong
I'll
Racing.
play some of that before the end of the month.
Can someone come over and play Diddy Kong Racing against me somehow? Is that even possible?
Sure,
Yeah, you can do it. Yeah.
I'm down.
I love that game.
It's a good game. I played it the past. I was going to play it tonight, but Brad was like, no, don't come over early.
Yeah, what a bitch.
Wait, I mean, you sounded like you didn't even really want to come over early.
I didn't want to come
pin
over
this
because you
shit
said you were going to be playing Witcher all day until the show. And so I was like, should I even come over then? And you were like, no.
Well, I got stuck at
And then
work.
he hung up.
Yeah, and then I came over and he was like, stupid, play Castlevania for me. I'm going to poop.
That's exactly what he said.
That didn't happen. But Castlevania is a good game. So
Castlevania while I
All right, moving on. It's time for everyone's favorite part of the show, Chatter of the Week. It's part of the show where
This
we
is-
pit two chatters against each other in an all-out brawl of how much they can beat Nick at Diddy Kong Racing.
This is the
hard.
part of the show where it gets potentially awkward.
Potentially.
Sometimes.
Our first chatter this week is Jacob. Olin Coates.
Olin Coates. I saw him in chat a while
Coates in
ago.
Yeah.
chat.
Olin Coates.
From Roanoke, Texas.
Creepy.
What?
Like the colonies.
Oh, yeah.
Except that wasn't in Texas.
But I know that wasn't in text. That was a joke. Okay, never mind. Moving on.
All right, shameful secret.
how about that Waco?
Being a cheap ass. Aw. I saw like because there was a shootout in a biker bar in Waco.
No, it was a Twin Peaks.
What a Twin Peaks was
Yeah.
a biker game. Right?
This was not a biker bar.
Sorry, I meant they were bikers, correct?
It's just like, yeah.
They were bikers.
It was
and it was funny though because I saw like I was on Reddit today and I saw someone like
What are you doing with pillows, by the way?
the cause of the bikers shooting out at this Twin Peaks, and it was just a gif of Pee Wee Herman knocking over the bikers bikes from Pee Wee's Big Adventure. Was that in Texas?
Yeah, it was Waco.
No,
Oh.
in Pee Wee.
He goes to the
Because he
Alamo.
goes to the Alamo. I can't remember. Anyway,
Hey, there's
moving
Ellen
on.
Coates.
Fucking Twin Peaks. Shameful secret. Being a cheap ass little kid, I would go on those dumb Flash game websites to get my gaming fix. And one of the last and hey, by the way,
Jet
some
Slalom.
Flash games are fantastic.
Jet Slalom was one of my favorite
Some
games.
Flash
back
games
in
are
the day.
amazing.
My roommate in college was obsessed with this volleyball game on like some. I think it was.
Dude, Newgrounds had
it-
so many games.
No, this was like a Disney, like Zoog Disney.
What?
It was like some shitty little volleyball game on like some Disney website. I think Zoog Disney was that a thing?
I have no
Sounds so
idea.
familiar. And he would like occasionally like years later was like, man, if you found that game again, like it just sort of it's the kind of thing that just goes away. He's like, man, I really wish I could play that game right now.
And he says, in one of my last and final visits to Max Games, I got a virus on my family's home desktop, in which included a frozen screen and loud, low-quality looping sex noises.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yep.
They don't make viruses like they used to.
No.
Yeah, right?
Greatest gaming achievement, platinuming Killzone Shadowfall, because one trophy took me all the way from the PS4 launch day to a year later to finish it.
That's impressive. I don't have a single
Platinum?
yet.
I have
just
one.
don't care enough, I guess.
Yeah.
Although for some reason I felt compelled to get that Blood Rock and Bloodborne last night. Like I just wanted to I wanted to max out a weapon to get a trophy. Like I'm actually going to continue. Oh god.
Again?
No,
Again, Chris Davis? Again.
No!
Reach
We're
up.
back.
What is, that is the worst. That is the worst thing in the world. That the camera's like low battery. I'm dying now.
I mean, can't we just plug it in?
Wait, let's all switch seats so when the camera comes.
Why does it why is it on a battery?
Wait, keep talking. This is a podcast.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's a
no, I know
podcast.
it's fine. So, Jacob or Orland Coates top 5 games of all time. Number 5, Metal Gear
Solid
3.
3 Snake Eater.
Rising.
3.
Metal Gear Solid 2.
Oh, okay.
Number
Interesting.
4 is Little
Big Planet.
Little
Little Big Planet. Wait, no. Little King Story.
little
Or no, Little Big Adventure.
I'm gonna go with Little Big Planet 2.
little and big.
Little Big Planet.
Ah, I was right the first time.
Number 3 game of all time is Killzone.
Shadows Fall.
No. Come on.
I don't know.
Two.
Shadowfall.
You say that like wait? Did you play 2?
No one liked Shadowfall. No, I played 2, yeah.
I like
This guy liked it enough to
Is
platinum it.
Killzone 3.
Okay, sure.
His number 2 game of all time is Hotline.
Miami.
Suicide?
Hotline Miami.
Okay.
The number 1 game of all time is Fallout.
3.
I'm going to go with New Vegas. We always say 3, and then it's always New Vegas.
3.
Nick.
3.
Nick.
I'm gonna go with New Vegas.
Fallout New Vegas.
You.
And this week,
I've never finished New Vegas.
Jacob is up against outsider Kris. Kris from Charlotte, North Carolina. The wonder from down under.
What?
Oh my lord.
South Carolina's not in Australia.
All right, shameful secret. Freshman year of high school, a classmate let me borrow GTA 4. My parents never let me play the GTA games. Good on them. So I never got to buy it. Upon returning the game, I wanted to keep it, so I replaced the disc with an extra Halo Collector's Edition that I had.
That sounds like you learned something bad from GTA 4.
I gave the case to him and went to leave when he opened it, and I was caught. I then returned the game the next day.
That's
How do you that was the wrong... I mean, I
fuck.
guess you could cut... Maybe if it was on the... I don't know. I
no.
guess.
There's no way. That's blatant.
GTA 4. I mean, a little off topic, but related to GTA. Do you know GTA 5 has sold 52 million units.
Total.
That's a lot.
It's almost double GTA 4.
That's a lot.
And
It's just a
came
bunch
out
of
on
people
Steam.
breaking it and buying it again. Buying it on PS4, then buying it on PC. Like buying it on PS3, then buying it on PS4.
I mean, there's a lot of people who've triple dipped at this point. So I mean, yeah, I understand.
That's why they all do the remasters. In fact, Capcom has recently even come out and said, or like today or yesterday said,
They're going to be doing a lot more.
Yeah,
of
we
those.
were really successful with Resident Evil HD, so this is going to be a focus for us.
You know what? You know what? You know what?
Fucking assholes.
As dumb as that is, I hope that maybe encourages them to put that out on a disc because I fucking want that game on a disc.
Sure. Okay, sorry.
Outsider Chris's greatest gaming achievement. I beat Metal Gear Solid and Siphon Filter on the first PlayStation when I was about 10. To this day, I still have the memory card with the game saves on them. So I guess my greatest gaming achievement, besides beating them at a young age, was that I held onto the memory cards for so long.
Good
Hey,
on
I
ya.
still have my PlayStation memory cards. I have them in a fucking box.
Me too.
I have all my memory cards.
Oh, show.
Like, I kept them.
Faux show.
I got my original Final Fantasy Tactics saved.
Dude, those fucking 8 megabytes.
Yeah.
Those memory cards are 8 megabytes.
I can't believe that. I can't even believe that.
That was ridiculous.
And do you remember how much we paid for those back in the day? It was like,
Like,
$25 for
dude,
an 8 megabyte
You
memory
could
card.
land a fucking lunar lander on the moon with 8 megabytes.
Probably. Outside of Chris's top 5 games of all time, number 5 is Halo
2.
Collector's Edition
Weird.
Collection.
with CE.
What does that mean? Combat Evolved.
Oh,
Combat Evolved,
the
yeah.
first Halo, Combat Evolved. Dude, I've never. The only Halo game I've ever played is
Halo 2.
ODST.
Really?
That's a
Yeah.
good one.
It's
And
a
it's
good
not-
one, but that's
or
a
did I
weird-
play Reach?
That's
Well, ODS was the one that had the jazz.
Which one had the co-op?
they all have
wait.
Like a co-op single-player campaign.
Okay, no,
So
that
either one of
was
those had co-op
they
single
all
player?
have co-op single player campaigns, but ODST was the first one that had that firefight mode, or the like.
Me
that's
and
like
David
horde
played
mode,
one
horde.
Halo, and that's the only one I've ever played. I always forget that the first one's called Combat Evolved because I've never
If
played
it's
it.
ODST, that's a good game, but that's a weird one for that to be your only exposure to Halo, because it's so different.
It is different.
It's really different.
That's
you don't
why I
get
liked
what
it.
it's like to be Master
One day,
Chief.
David was like, "Hey, let's play this." I got it from Redbox. We poop socked it, and then that's the
If
only
you
Halo.
poop
I've
shocked, it
ever
was
played.
probably ODST.
Okay.
Because Reach is like a full blown. It was probably like 12, 13-hour game.
Yeah, ODST.
ODST you could probably beat in like 4 hours.
Oh, I don't remember that. Well,
Anyway,
It was originally a DLC. for
moving
3.
on.
and then they made
Sorry.
Number 4 game of all time is Metal Gear.
Solid 3.
Faster, Crispy.
Oh,
Solid.
Oh,
Number
damn
3,
it.
Deus Ex.
The original.
I'm gonna go with Human Revolution.
Human Revolution.
Yeah.
Number 2 game of all time is
Gaia.
This guy. 2.
Dishonored.
Damn it! That is a good game. I don't even know why. Why did my brain go to Disgaea instead of Dishonored? Because Dishonored is fantastic.
Disgaea
Number one
was
game-
cool.
Number 1 game of all time is Fall
Out.
2.
New Vegas.
Out 3.
Damn it.
Oh, it was 3. No!
Yeah, it was.
No!
Yeah, you flipped him, Chris. All right, once again, we have Olin Coates, who played Flash games and listened to porn noises. Platinum Killzone's top 5 games are Metal Gear Solid 2, Little Big Planet, Killzone 3, Hotline Miami, and Fallout New Vegas. Up against Outsider Kris from Down Under, who switched out the games with his friend. Beat Metal Gear Solid and Siphon Filter when he was 10, and his top 5 games are Halo, Combat Evolved, Metal Gear Solid, Deus Ex, Human Revolution, Dishonored, and Fallout 3.
All right, I'm
Brad's
gonna go
vote
ahead and
is Nolan Void today.
I am going to give it
Nolan
to.
Void.
What's the second guy's name again?
Outsider Kris.
Outsider Kris, because 1, Dishonored is great. 2, that's a pretty good story about trying to rip someone off and then getting busted. Yeah, that's my choice. I'm gonna just leave it at that.
I'm gonna give it to Outsider Kris too. And it looks like Chris Davis is also giving it to Outsider Kris.
Well, then-
but that's a conspiracy.
So
'cause
he
y'all are both,
automatically wins.
but y'all are both named Chris, so that's a that's a
You can't
conspiracy.
prove that.
I can't.
You
I
can't
can't.
prove that.
All right, I can't prove that.
Oh, I do want to say that Olin Coates said, you guys rock, keep doing what you do best, praise the Roach of Krondor. And Outsider Kris said, my friend Deshaun got me to listening around episode 405. Really enjoy the content.
wow.
Keep it
Oh,
up.
he's a newbie.
Yeah, he's
well, then I'm gonna
brand
give it to the
new.
newbie. Thank you, though, Olin Coates, for the kind words.
See, it pays to listen to new podcasts.
Well, then congratulations, Outsider Kris. You are this week's winner. You have won the win. You are Chatter of the Week. If you would like to be Chatter of the Week, all you have to do is go to 4playernetwork.com. There's a big chatter button. You click on that. You enter in your digits, your shit, your stuff.
Your shite.
Yep,
Little song
all
and
that.
dance.
And then you, too, could be Chatter of the Week.
Yes.
All right, so since Brad has
Left the building.
ejected himself from the podcast room for an emergency phone call or something,
I think he had to poop again.
we're going to go ahead and wrap up the 4-player minute. We might actually be able to keep this short then.
His butt was making an emergency phone call.
Yeah.
Nolan, I guess you're going to start us off this week. Are you comfortable with that?
I don't know what the 4-player minute is.
So this is why
What's the 4-player
I see what you did there. 4-player minute. We're gonna spend a minute saying our hype, our sweat, our thank you, and our fuck you of the week. Do I need to start up?
No, go for it. I'm sorry. I'll go
got
for it. So my hype is definitely for the fucking Witcher. I mean, couldn't be more excited to play that game. It's just... my sweat is for State of Decay, actually, because I really want to play more of that. And it's like, it's one of those situations where it's like, I got really into this game, and then another game came
Witcher
out.
3 comes out, and rest in peace every other game you're playing.
Pretty much. Like, I wanted to finish... all the Chalice dungeons in Bloodborne, or at least finish like the main Chalice dungeon run.
Yeah.
And that's not going to happen now. My fuck you this week goes to Nintendo, just because they just choose to make the dumbest decisions.
Not the dumbest. The dumbest decisions are still Konami, I think.
Well, yeah, okay. Nintendo chooses to make illogical decisions that would make them money, and they just decide to throw that out the door.
That's what Konami did too.
Oh yeah.
They're all dumb.
Yeah, and then my thank you for the week is just going to go to CD Projekt Red. They're just delightful development company. I mean, they fucking thank you notes in the game cases.
Dude, I didn't even realize I got the game from Amazon today.
Uh-huh.
I opened it up and it had the letter, which
Yeah.
is cool. It also had a soundtrack.
The soundtrack.
It had a map.
Yep.
It had
And that's the base game.
it had a comic.
Yeah, not the collector's edition, just the
A
base
hardcover
game.
comic, by
Yeah.
the way.
And then just for the fucking 16 free DLCs that are coming with the game, just because they appreciate us. That's just delightful people.
Your copy of the game had a comic?
Yeah, a hardcover comic. It was exclusive to Amazon.
Oh,
Pre-order.
there you go.
I was
That's
like,
why.
what?
And not to mention, like, every time we've seen them at conventions, they're
Dude.
always like, here's a bunch of like Polish beer,
Dude.
and here's like, fucking free copies of our games.
Dude, the
like,
last two
they're
E3s, they
delightful.
just
It's because they don't have to
they
spend
take
money
they
on
take you into a
healthcare.
nice air conditioned room that's dark, and they give you these like exclusive like Witcher 3 bags full of goodies, and then they give you Polish beer.
Cool Geralt statues.
Dude, I'm really excited. I'm hoping that now that The Witcher's out means that maybe this E3 they'll show Cyberpunk. Because we've known that's been in development for a while.
Who knows?
Hey, Brad's back.
So how was the
a
second
good
guy's
poop?
top 5?
It's a good poop.
Oh, you would have loved it.
Yeah.
That was great.
I vote for the second guy.
The second
Everyone
guy
else
didn't
did
win.
too.
Yeah.
He's also a newbie. He's only been listening since episode 405.
Nice. That wasn't that
There
long
we
ago.
go. There we
All
go.
right. Krispy.
Okay, so my let me refer back. My hype for this week is for fucking Mad Max. We didn't really talk about seeing the movie because that movie was fantastic, but like
Why didn't we talk about
I don't
that?
know, but the game is coming up pretty soon, and holy fuck, that movie like blew my goddamn mind. I want to do all of that.
So
in a
I
video game.
I will say that I've recently, in excitement for Fury Road and not being able to see it, I went back and watched the trilogy. I watched all 3 Mad Max films.
Really? And you
Yeah.
still haven't seen this new one?
Yeah.
Well, which
Go fuck
ones hold?
yourself.
Which ones hold? I mean, Thunderdome doesn't hold
No.
up.
No,
So
Road
Road,
Warrior is fucking
Warrior
amazing.
holds up the best out of all 3 of them. But I will say that both Fury Road and the new Mad Max game, they're definitely a combination
Guys,
of
I haven't,
Road
I
Warrior
haven't seen
and Thunderdome.
I have never seen a Mad Max movie in my life.
You should watch Road Warrior.
Road
the second
Warrior.
one.
Yeah, definitely.
The first one's weird. It's okay. I like it, but it's not.
So-
it's not what you think of when you think of Mad Max.
Yes, it's very different. This is like the Mad Max universe, like the fucking post-apocalyptic. This is before that happens.
Yeah. This is like he's still like a cop in the world.
In Australia,
and
he's
it's
just like a cop.
And it's a road chase movie.
Yeah, it's-
and
it's-
then the apocalypse happens and Road Warrior.
That's
takes place.
weird.
The
That's
apocalypse
really
happens essentially between Mad Max and Mad Max, like the second one.
So is Fury Road supposed to be the same Max, or is this like a
Yeah,
reboot?
it's
completely?
it's just him. It's just
Yeah.
him in the wasteland. It's not really tied to anything. It's just like one story out of Max's life.
But so the this one definitely because it's been a while since I've seen them. And Road Warrior, they don't have as many crazy cool cool cars like they have in Thunderdome.
Yeah.
Like, because the Thunderdome, most of it's like, I hate the whole thing with the kids off in the fucking Oasis. I hate that shit.
Like Fury Road, like the more fantastical elements of Fury Road are like what Thunderdome is.
Yeah.
But it's just like fucking ridiculous.
All right.
I really want to.
Anyway,
We should,
So
record,
I'm
we should
super
record a
fucking-
popcorn cast
Yeah.
after we.
We should go watch the movie again.
I'm down. I'm
And then
totally
record
down.
I
Opera
wanna
Pass.
see it.
Anyway, so yeah, I'm super excited to try that Mad Max game. Yeah. I can't wait. My sweat goes for the fact that like over the weekend I kind of for a hot minute there got like really addicted to this game called Rocket League, which was in beta on PS4. Essentially, it is just soccer with remote control cars. And it is literally nothing more than that. There is nothing any deeper to it. Like, it's just driving around cars on this big field, like pushing a giant soccer ball around, and you've got like rocket boosters, and the cars can jump and everything. And it's like, it's so much fun. It is so much fucking fun. Like, it's gonna be like a $15 network game when it comes out, and I'm gonna buy the shit out
What's
of it.
the name of it?
Rocket League.
Okay, that is like a remix. So, is it the one you're the car?
The cars, and you're playing soccer.
That is. They put that game out on PS3 under a different name.
Oh, did they?
This is like a new version of it for like the
I think
new.
because what he was describing sounded familiar to
Yeah,
me,
yeah.
but I'm like, this guy. What I'm thinking of came out a long time ago.
You like play soccer with like little cars and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
And
that is
but
super
it's so,
fun.
Like, and once you get into it, it's so cool to like do things that in the replay just look so fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like it's just like a soccer stunt simulator, and it's really fucking cool. I enjoy it. My fuck Konami for the week goes to Konami for
That we should add that our
There
fuck
was-
Konami for the week.
they made a statement applauding Nevada passing
Oh,
its new
fuck.
skilled gaming law. So basically, Nevada passed this law called Senate Bill 9, which now makes it legal for gambling machines to be skill based. So Konami is sitting over here like, oh, that's fucking awesome. We have all these franchises like Resident Evil and Contra
whoa.
and. Or no, not Resident Evil. I'm like Contra and
Silent Hill, Metal Gear
Silent
Solid.
Hill, and Metal Gear Solid, and all this
Suikoden.
shit.
Maybe Castlevania.
Yeah, and they're like, okay, so the official, where was it? I
Gradius.
just fucking had it. But basically, they're talking about how exciting this is because now that they're adding skill-based sections to these gambling machines, they can incorporate gameplay from their popular franchises
fuck yourself,
into these
Konami.
gambling machines. So maybe we will play Silent Hills, and maybe
No,
we'll be
we
making
won't.
money while we're doing it.
I won't be doing that. Go fuck yourself, Konami. Fuck.
So,
Oh my god.
so fuck that.
That's my fuck you of the week. I'm just
Fuck
gonna get
that.
that out of the way.
And then my thank you for the week goes to Fuguhui8, who is the real ghost with the most, and for everyone who donated to us during 8-Bit Salute.
Yeah.
That was really cool. I had a lot of fun.
I actually have a
And-
friend. I actually have a friend that I haven't seen in a very long time, but he is in the military now. He's overseas, and he got on Facebook and he said, "Thank you very much for doing that."
That's cool.
Yeah. So it was a lot of fun. So thanks everyone
Also-
who participated and hung out.
Also, Gray Fox recently joined the Air Force, so
Really?
Oh.
he's
There you go.
he's one of the troops, and he used to broadcast. So
There you go.
So he can run a 12-minute mile and a half? I think it's one of the requirements.
Yeah, probably.
really,
Yeah, one of my friends. I remember when he was training for it, I would go running with him. You get the. Or it was either Air Force or
12-minute
Navy.
mile and a half.
Yeah,
That's weird. I don't know if I could do that. I mean,
no, you definitely couldn't do that.
I definitely couldn't do that now, but I'm saying like I don't. When I was not
When I was in my prime,
when I was not old and fat, I used to jog.
about 30 years ago.
But yeah.
All right, Brad. Well, I think it's your
Oh,
turn.
well, let's wrap things up with the 4-player minute. Nick, what's the 4-player? Okay,
just-
I have 4 hypes this week because you know what? It's good.
They're all Witcher
I feel
related.
positive. You know what I mean? They're not Witcher related, actually. I mean, I'm hyped about The Witcher. That could be a 5th hype. First hype, Fatal Frame 5. I can't wait. You know?
Yeah.
I saw very little of y'all playing Fatal Frame.
I would definitely want to try that.
Check
now.
from my phone
I
when
will
I
be
was in
playing
bed,
that.
but it seemed cool.
I think Krispy said he already agreed he's going to come over and
play some Fatal
play
Frame
some with
5.
me.
I have high
I'm not
hopes
playing
for-
it by myself.
Fuck yeah.
I really do have high hopes for 5 because I think like the kind of the alternate reality. I mean the augmented reality aspect of like holding the thing up in your room.
No, definitely.
just makes it that much more
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
And can you imagine when you pull it down and the ghost is still there?
Oh my god! Stop it, Nolan.
Why would you say
I'm
that?
also hyped
But, like
for-
hide like ghosts around your.
There's kind of like an ultimate version, or kind of like a Wasteland 2.0 sort of thing, or Wasteland 2 2.0 or whatever that's coming out this summer. That's sort of like kind of like the enhanced edition of Divinity, where they're really kind of going all out with like graphical upgrades and like updates and tweaks, and they're adding like a whole shit ton more voice acting in the game.
For Wasteland?
For Wasteland 2. And that's
yeah,
one that I feel like I barely scratched the surface of, so I'm glad that this version's coming out to kind of improve the things that maybe I found a little bit frustrating, because that is one that I kind of regret not finishing last year. And, you know, it looked good. My next hype is for we're very soon, in just a couple weeks, going to find out what Hellblade is all about. Ninja Theory is a developer that I really do appreciate, and you know,
Ninja Theory.
Ninja Theory. What did I say?
You said Hellblade.
No, he said
No, Hellblade is the game they're
I
working
know.
on.
You said Hellblade is a developer.
Oh,
That
okay. Ninja Theory is a developer I really respect. I think Heavenly Sword is a really cool game, and I think, you know, Enslaved is great, and you know, obviously we have had our disagreements about DMC, but I think that's a fine game. But my biggest problem with it is I think
We're not here to talk about that.
I think that no, I'm saying I think that Ninja Theory is at its best when they're creating their own original thing. So I'm excited to see what this is, what characters are gonna, you know, it's gonna be about, because that's what they're the best at. And my final hype is for Fire Emblem If. You know, actually, last week, I think it was a sweat, and I was worried, or it was a fuck you, that they were removing durability from the weapon system in Fire Emblem If, which was a concern to me, because that would remove a lot of depth. It would kind of destroy the economy. I finally read some details, or they've released some new details about kind of why they're making, not why they're making that change, but this new system. They're revamping the weapon system. It's no longer going to have the traditional weapon triangle, and you know how like once you get a Krispy, you'll understand this. Once you get like a steel sword, you don't use the bronze sword. Once you get a silver sword, you're not going to use, you know, the steel sword.
Right.
Instead of, and the way they balance that out is, if you get a new silver sword, you might only have like 20 uses of it, so you keep like a steel sword
like a
as backup.
sword,
You know what I mean? And that's how they balance it out. But now what they're doing is they're making like the bronze sword have like maybe like give you a better chance of avoiding an attack, while the steel sword might do a little bit more damage. Like they're
So
actually,
there would be a reason to have the bronze sword
yeah.
equipped.
So they don't wear down. What they're doing is they're balancing out all these weapon types to give you like certain uses for them, to where you might actually even be able to approach the level of like a build. Like I'll have this character use bronze weapons because I spec'd him out to be more dodgy, and it makes more sense that he would use this weapon type.
That's really cool, though.
Yeah,
I remember you saying you were really nervous about them saying they were getting rid of durability.
It
but
actually sounds pretty.
That's a cool trade-off.
It sounds pretty cool, and they revamped the weapon triangle, which we don't need to get into details, but that's
The rock,
cool
paper,
because
scissors.
it's been the same for so many years, and I'm glad to see it's a little bit different. You know, now concealed blades, best magic, and yeah, it's weird and different. So yeah. Cool. And that's it. Those are all my hypes.
All right.
That was hypeful.
Thanks
for listening, guys.
Fuck you. My hype is for it's for The Witcher, but I think more immediately is to be finishing up Bloodborne. I am very, very close to the end of that game. I think I'm level 99 at this point. And I think it's ultimately gonna end up being the first Souls game that I've finished.
I'm proud of you. I'm not even gonna lie.
I loved every minute of it, except for that one boss.
Except for all the minutes of it that you were having.
Except for that one boss, the fucking the Blood-Starved Beast. That's the only boss in the entire game that made me almost fucking throw my PS4 out a window.
Was that like the lady?
No, that was the big beast in Old Yarnum. That I found out later was an optional boss.
A lot of the bosses were optional.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was one of them. Anyways, I love that game. I absolutely fucking love the game. I'm addicted to it, and I'm excited to be finishing it.
I really do think you should check out some of the chalice dungeons.
I've done at least a couple floors of one of them.
For the pure sake that there are several bosses in there that are completely unique.
Yeah, I've already fought one of them. In fact, I'll probably. That's one of those things where if I ever have downtime or I'm not playing something else, I'll definitely try and go back and maybe do it.
I do think before you fight the final boss, you should just make a copy of your save, maybe.
Yeah.
So you aren't forced to go in the New Game Plus, because I really regret going in the New Game Plus before doing some of the grinding and some of the other things I wanted to do in my original game.
Yeah.
Because the difficulty spike is ridiculous.
Well, so I'm excited to be finished with that. My sweat is that. Sorry, my shame is that Invisible Ink I've almost completely forgotten. It's been on the tip of my tongue. I've been wanting to pull up my credit card and buy it and play it, but like, when the fuck am I gonna have time? I'm trying to work on some updates to the site to get done before E3. I'm playing Bloodborne, Witcher 3. I'm gonna start and be playing that to death this weekend. Like, when am I gonna find time? When are anyone's gonna find time to play anything other than The Witcher for like the next month?
Yeah,
it's crazy. My fuck you of the week obviously goes to Konami, and my sweat. I fucking had a sweat, and now I've completely lost it.
Your balls.
it's not that hot yet. It's been raining so much.
Let's go ahead and
lately.
give my sweat to The Witcher in terms of its stability.
Like day one patches and whatnot, right?
Fucking fuck day one patches. Fuck day one patches. That's all I'm saying. But seriously, I'm worried about that. Anyways, that's all we have for the show today. I know this segment has gone on quite a bit.
Yep.
This entire
Quite long.
podcast is gone.
This show has gone quite long. Oh yeah, and my thank you of the week goes to Chai Tai for, even though he couldn't co-op with me last night, getting online and trying to give me some tips to try and get through a tough area in Bloodborne. An optional area, but I was trying to get through it. So thank you, Chai Tai, for hanging out a little bit last night.
Well, y'all tried to co-op and it didn't work?
Well, he didn't have a character within the range that can co-op with me. Or actually, I don't think he even has a character that's has access to the area where I'm at the moment. That he could have
okay, I see what you're saying.
But he did get on. He did join a party last night with me and was giving me ideas and tips that I didn't really think of. So that was cool. I still have yet to beat that area yet, but I haven't tried again since then. Anyways, thank you guys for listening. 4Player Podcast. Obviously, you can find us at 4playernetwork.com. We are gearing up for E3. That's in
3 weeks.
3 weeks. 3 weeks. We got our travel arrangements figured out. That's exciting. Obviously, like I mentioned before, thank you very much for all of our patrons. We have reached our $900 milestone, and we are well on our way. We're hoping to cover some ground rather quickly and get to the milestone so we can hook Krispy up with a capture card so we can do a Demon Souls Let's Play. Which would be cool.
And so we could broadcast some dual stream Twisted Metal because we won't play Twisted Metal because Mad Max was so cool. And what else are we going to play?
I'm not really sure
the Mad Max game comes out.
Yeah, right.
Batman and The Witcher and
no, I mean that gives you like a Mad Max kind of
Nothing.
Batman.
Yeah,
you have the fucking
nothing.
Batmobile.
maybe Rage.
Fuck you
But
guys.
Also,
I keep hearing Rage is bad. So.
as I mentioned before,
Great.
we have something special planned that's Patreon themed
Yeah.
that we're planning on doing right before E3. So keep your eyes on the site for that. And if you haven't already, please.
Those eyes open.
I'm working on some upgrades for the site, for the front page. So keep your eyes out for that. I've been working hard on. In fact, that's probably the reason why I haven't finished Bloodborne yet. But there's some things I wanted to change before we head off to LA for E3. Anyways, thank you for listening. We'll be back next week to talk about The Witcher. Probably for the entire show.
Yeah, probably.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not.
Nope.
So yeah, I guess we
Stick
will
around. New release Tuesday with some Witcher afterwards.
some Witcher and some tissues and some lotion.
Yes.
And I guess
I'll help.
well, oh my god. All right, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for listening.
Bye.